I
Yeah.
bought a. I mean, I bought. I've been talking to Drag. I'm trying to like get more into cooking and trying to cook more. So I make my own pasta sauce now using Christopher Maudi's recipe, which like we fucking nailed it this week. It's like this delicious tomato paste sludge right now. Like it's so good. It's like a Sunday gravy. Oh my god.
It's got spices. You went spices with it. It's not just pure tomatoes.
So it's 2 cans of pureed tomatoes, 2 cans of tomatoes. What's it? Pureed, 2 cans of crushed, then garlic, onion, and a bunch of like spices. So like a lot of like herbs, like rosemary, basil, a bunch of stuff.
Did you use garlic oil or did you use pieces of garlic?
Minced garlic.
Minced garlic. So there's a certain consistency there.
Yeah, we tried to just do the garlic. Sorry, go ahead, Carrie. No. Sorry about that.
Do you find that for specific sauces that you can use dehydrated garlic spices, concentrated garlic spices, and get a better effect with, and then you don't have to worry so much about any kind of sort of chunky consistency, or do you try to stay away from dry spices?
My roommate could probably speak more to that because he makes a lot of Indian food. He's Indian, or I should say his parents are Indian. But I think in the case of, it depends on the texture of the sauce. I think what we've noticed is that the texture in this, like, it's like supposed to be like a Sunday gravy, like tomato sauce.
Yes.
Is that it's supposed to have like it's supposed to have a thick texture. So like, I find that the added crunch and the added little bits, it just sort of it adds a little bit of that texture that you kind of want in a thicker, chunkier sauce, if that makes sense.
I would find that distracting. I would have gone the way of making it as smooth as possible, therefore using concentrated spices. And if I was going to go the other way to make something like a bolognese or a meat sauce, then I'd start using the minced garlic. And I wouldn't care so much if there were little chunks involved, because you're looking for that more heavy texture. But if you're looking for a smooth texture, I would go the way of dried spices.
Well, I think part of it is that what we're like the recipe that we have, which is from Christopher Maudi, actually, it's supposed to be. It's not strictly speaking like a marinara sauce. It's actually a Sunday gravy, so it's meant to be a bit thicker.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I like a chunkier sauce, just generally, flavor-wise.
I almost exclusively make meat sauces. So I very rarely go for a thin sauce at all.
My roommate is a vegetarian just because of heritage. Not religious at all. Also a scientist in my program. But, it's just so he's not... surprise, surprise, he's not religious. He's an agnostic.
Yeah.
I think for him, like, if I could, if I would cook, like, Maudi gave me a recipe for meatballs, and I would add the meatballs to it, and then just have spaghetti and meatballs or just pasta and meatballs for a while.
Yeah.
But can't do that because of vegetarian restrictions. And I also, to be completely fair to him, it's not just a religious or like a cultural thing for him. He also does care. Like, it's an added benefit that that it helps with animal rights in his view. So
I see.
But he's not mostly ethical. Like, he doesn't give a shit that I cook sausage and then I put it in with my pasta. For him, it's almost exclusively like a heritage thing. It's like the same thing where, like, I'll go to a high holiday service with, like, family or friends for because I'm Jewish.
Gotcha. Yeah, I grew up in the North Country in Canada, so I was surrounded a lot with different native cultures who had very specific opinions concerning hunting and eating of meat and stuff like that. And there was a certain level of reverence you were supposed to show in the act of hunting itself, in the preparation of the meat, as sort of a thanks, a gesture of thanks to the spirit of the animal that you're eating for helping sustain your life. It's like a sort of little prayer that goes along with it. So there are different ends of the spectrum for me with regards to the entire veganism concept.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of game meat. I feel part of it is, yes, I think it tastes really good, but another part of it is I just, maybe this is just me being kind of weird and hokey, but I find that that like it makes me feel more connected with the meat and more kind of primal, for lack of a better term. So
I understand what you're
me and my
talking about.
folks, we go up to. Sorry about that, Carrie. Go ahead.
No, I'm just agreeing with you. That's all.
Oh yeah, and so me and my folks go up to Colorado a lot because my parents have a place there, and we can get tons of bison and elk, and it's just elk is amazing. It's my favorite meat for sure.
I'm actually partial to bison. I had some bison jerky, and it was just so fantastically well done. Spice, the texture, and even there's a little bit of a gamey flavor, but it works for bison jerky. It's not a bad thing. It's a feature. It's not a flaw.
Yeah, I think the worst thing you can do is try to treat a game meat like it's not a game meat. Like that's stupid. Why you wouldn't treat chicken? Like why would you treat a bison like it's a cow?
Yeah.
You guys are making me hungry. Holy fuck. Anyway, I think Ozzy was the one who offered to have me try some moose jerky. I think he said. He said that evidently that's something you Canadians, you Canucks enjoy.
Oh, yeah. Well, if you go to like the Great Canadian Outdoors shows and stuff like that, you'll have both local vendors usually in your area that will do local dried and jerk meats of various animals, and there are larger, more professional, I suppose, chain stores that do the same sort of thing, and they'll have a host of delicacies there of that nature. A lot of them are essentially the same thing: smoked and dried meats. Montreal, famous for its smoked meats. If you want to go there, you'll have some of the best sandwiches and smoked meats you've ever had. So if you're interested in going further north, like into the away from the border, because most Canadians live within like 100 kilometers or 60 miles of the U.S. border. If you break that line and go even further, like twice that, you'll get into the rural areas, and you'll have usually local shops, local butchers that'll have hosts of beaver meat and deer and stuff like that. It's just, there's plenty of food. You just you just got to know how to cook it.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I would like to do eventually, because one of my like long-term goals is, other than becoming a scientist, is being financially stable and financially, I guess, what is the actual term? Financially independent. Yeah, financially independent, so that I could travel to different regions and try like some of the best food. Of course, as a fat guy, that's a dream come true. But it also like lets you understand more about the region and the culture, because people put like their hearts and souls into cooking, and it is like integral to who they are and their local and their personal identity. So when someone shares their food with you from their region, that's something special that I think a lot of folks kind of take for granted, because you have stalls where, well, you can get this ethnic food here and this ethnic food there, and this food from this region, but having a home cooked meal from someone who is a native from that region, wherever it may be, that I think is very, very special.
Oh yeah, I had a buddy who was from Jamaica, or actually Trinidad, sorry, and he was going on and on and on about a lot of the stuff that he cooked. That there's essentially this sort of format that follows with regards to cultural food. You have people move into an area, they have only a certain limited amount of resources to work with, and they're mostly concerned with survival. So you're going to get sort of quick and fast things that you can do and for food. But then after you get established in an area, these recipes stay the same. They start to mutate a little, you know, different spices, a little bit of this, a little bit of that added and thrown in. Still technically the same thing, it's just it's growing and becoming more cultural, like more regional.
Right.
And so he was like, this is where where oxtail came from. You know, it was one of the only cuts of meat that was available for families in his area. You know, where the prime cuts were always going to the wealthier families. But you know, so oxtail soup. This is how he would work it in. And then all of a sudden you finally nowadays, if you go to a nice Jamaican restaurant that serves oxtail, it is soft, it is spiced, it is fantastic, you know. And where it was once like survival food, now it's a gourmet experience when it's done right. And that happens a lot even in Canada, in Canada's cultures.
Feijoada in Brazil. So feijoada is like it's like a pork black bean stew, and it's considered like a very, very good like traditional Brazilian food, but it's actually a slave food because, you know, what do you toss to the slave? Well, rice, black beans, and pork, and just like the ends of pork.
Yeah, it is amazing. There's a similar story for po' boys where I'm not sure how true this is, but you know, I think it was during the time where the railroads were first being constructed and or ports or whatever, depending on who's telling the fucking story. Basically, you had the poor boys who would come up for lunch from their, you know, grueling, you know, manual labor jobs, and the shops really didn't have much to sell them other than some bread and some scraps and leftovers from what they had been selling, you know, as their main entree. So that is how the traditional, you know, New Orleans po' boy got its start, from feeding the poor boys. And of course, our butchering of the English language led to, you know, it being named what it is. But yeah, Fiona, you said you have an hypothesis about GMOs
for the lugs when it comes to
oh god,
you know,
you say that, but then I'll tell you later. I'll tell you later. Somebody else has been making that same joke, but I'm not going to put it anyway. Yeah, Fiona, you said what you've had an idea about what's going on with G-Man and what he thinks GMOs are.
Yeah, it's a misunderstanding I've come across with a lot of people. They say, "Oh, I understand what GMOs are," and then they just rattle off what the abbreviation stands for: genetically modified organism. But then when you start to dig down into what they think that is, they're putting into that category any food that has been processed in any way.
So that's why he thinks that processed hamburger bun, or excuse me, hamburger meat, like with the emulsion, all that kind of stuff, he thinks that process itself makes it a GMO.
Yes, and it is a common misunderstanding. People are so busy saying, "I know what the G and the M and the O stand for." They don't actually think what the words mean. Genetically modified organism, which means it's an organism that has been modified genetically. They don't think about the meaning of the words. It's just a label. So
well,
sorry, on you go.
Oh, sorry, Fiona. I thought you paused. Okay. Well, I mean, he picked the worst example, which is chicken. Like, no one, bird breeding is so advanced as a field that we don't pump chickens full of antibiotics. For the most part, we don't feed them steroids in their, in their feed. They're just bred to be that gigantic. So, like, he picked the worst example because chickens, if you want to talk about how we treat chickens or how we treat pigs or cows, like, drive by a factory farm when you drive across the country. Like, once I can afford to not have factory farmed food, I'm going to move towards that as much as I can, because it's brutal. Talk about the treatment of this. But if you're going to bring up GMOs, chickens are literally the worst organism to bring up because we don't really do shit to them. No. Like, the worst thing that we do in terms of it being unnatural is that we vegetarian feed them, which like chickens are omnivores, they're not vegetarians. If you have been around a chicken coop, like I had a friend who had a farm. I did actually, related to our last hangout, I did some statistical analyses for her, and she gave me chicken eggs and chicken salad for free. They eat everything. They eat grubs, they eat worms. You know, if you toss it a chicken nugget, it'll eat a chicken, and then you make fun of it for being a cannibal, you know? Fun stuff. But he picked the worst example for a GMO because chickens, the only way that we fuck with it is just selective breeding, which is nothing different from when we domesticated them 10,000 years ago.
It was like free range, right?
Free range is where you allow them to roam for some amount of time outside their coop.
Oh, okay.
My knowledge, so it's been a while. I used to be really into this stuff, and like I know a bit about nutrition, but I'm kind of jaded when it comes to nutritional science because it's like, if you want to talk about corrupt sciences, nutritional science is it. And like shitty sample sizes and really just not great science.
But gotcha. And hello everyone.
But I think that there is a real confusion about what GM actually means. I mean, I looked at the video that G-Man had supplied, and it was people just dipping stuff in a fluid, a dye. That's not genetic modification. Dipping it in a coloured dye.
Yeah, I mean, by his definition, almost any salmon stock that you find at a butcher, and any meat stock actually is genetically modified because for a lot of them, they pump them full of carbon monoxide because it binds the oxygen more tightly, and so you get a redder colored meat. It has zero effect on health or anything. It just makes it look better cosmetically.
But it would mean that, I mean, even if you got venison from a wild deer and you minced it up and made venison burgers, then he would count that as GMO because it's been processed.
So he's counting any, like if you...
anything that's been processed. And one of the examples he gives was, I don't know where he's getting this one from, stores injecting chickens with stuff. He says they're stores, grocery stores, injecting chicken with GMOs.
No, that's plumping. No. And Jay pointed it out because when he showed me the video, because I was like, there's no one going into a grocery store and pumping stuff inside like chicken breasts. And when he said it, I said, gee, man, that doesn't happen. One of the reasons I know that's because my wife, while I was dating her, worked for a grocery store next to the place that I worked at. And I had to go pick her up. Like, I kind of know what goes on in there. But once he played the video, I said, there's a guy, he has this tube, has some type of, puncture device, and he has a handle. You see him injecting something into the chicken that it looks like it just been like freshly fucking like plucked and decapitated. So you see the chicken get like slightly bigger. And I'm like, this looks very familiar. And I was like, oh, this is what I do when I'm getting ready to prepare a chicken a turkey before I fry it. And Jay pointed out that it's plumping. You put brine in there. And I mean, it's
Not uncommon.
And the last time I looked, time I looked, brine is not a genetically modified organism. It's some water with some salt in it. Yeah.
It's so bizarre because that's considered, in terms of bringing out the flavor, the natural flavor. If anything, he should be more in favor of that because it's, it's dehydrating, is partially dehydrating the meat so that you get a more concentrated flavor. I'm trying to assume that G-Man can make sense when it comes to things, and I realize that's a fool's errand.
Well, I think it's just, it's a very fundamental misunderstanding, but it's not an uncommon one. I will say that. That's not an uncommon misunderstanding. So until he works out the difference between processed food and genetically modified organisms, then he's not actually going to grasp what's going on there.
Part of the reason is he thinks that chiropractors are, I guess, knowledgeable and skilled enough to speak on the topic of I guess, diet science and hell, anything within this realm. Because that's who he's relying on for information. And I try to point that out, but he's convinced that if you are some type of scientist or some type of doctor, then you have, I guess, credence in any field that you want.
No, he doesn't believe that, because he said that, quote, scientist Sam is good at whatever he does, but he doesn't know jack when it comes to fitness or nutrition, which, like, anyone that knows my background knows that's actually, like, very far from the truth. I mean, it's a hobby of mine, but, you know, to lay my cards on the table, my mom has been a prominent executive in the fitness industry for since I've been alive. And so, you know, you grow. It's the same way that, like, Drag knows about some of the stuff that his mom does. Like, if you're around that world, you know, I worked for a fitness company for many years. I've gotten multiple personal training certifications. I've taken nutrition courses. It's not, you know, it's not mind-blowing stuff. And it annoys me because, you know, he's willing to grant authority for no reason other than he likes that person.
Yeah. That's really it.
I didn't see what G-Man said. What's the dumbest thing that he said in this tirade he did?
Oh,
I know there's a bunch to pick from, I'm sure.
So the most complex one was that through the law of entropy, evolution states that as things progress, our water system is more terrible than it was thousands of years ago.
What?
Oh, you missed that one.
Yeah, I think I'm glad I did.
I'm glad I asked that question. That's crazy.
That was probably
last night and say, but.
There's the buts again. I heard that last night.
Someone in the live chat is saying we should invite G-Man.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, anyway, just in case anybody doesn't know what a genetically modified organism is, let me just repeat it. It's an organism which has had its genetics modified in a lab to give it a certain trait that it didn't have before. So we have certain crops that carry a gene that allow them to be resistant to the weed killer Roundup. So that means that the farmer, when he's growing that in his field, he can apply Roundup to the crop and the crop won't be killed by it, only the weeds. Right? And one of the other ones that sticks in my brain is we now have goats that in their milk, they produce spider silk.
Yeah, I've heard
that. You want to know?
Yeah, I've heard that.
A really cool one is that and this is an example of, like, how G-Man is propagating something that's just so harmful, is that in Uganda, they get most of their carbohydrates from bananas. The problem is bananas are lacking. I think it's vitamin A. They're really lacking. And so there's a lot of cases of people who get vitamin A deficiencies and have a whole variety of things, including blindness. You can get blindness from long-term vitamin A deficiencies. And so people have genetically engineered bananas that have vitamin A in them. But you want to know...
We've done that with rice as well.
But you know what happens with Uganda? Uganda is so... Because they have the type of religiosity and paranoia about anything scientific, like G-Man, they don't eat genetically modified bananas, which is a tragedy. Like, you have people who are literally ruining their health because of the type of idiots we're talking.
Sorry, Sam. I'm just saying the same is happening. The same's happening in Asia with rice, with vitamin A. And a genetically modified strain, which has more vitamin A in it, has been constructed. And there's people screaming and yelling and bawling about that. But again, it's to prevent blindness. But one other thing I would like to bring up before I sort of faint and fall out of this hangout is one of the best examples of using a genetically modified organism is using a bacterium to produce human insulin. And diabetics use human insulin. You can get animal-derived human insulin, but that involves actually harvesting it from an animal that you've just killed. But in human insulin, they splice the gene into a bacterium. And then when you grow the bacterium up in a big fermenter, the gene is being expressed, human insulin is being produced, and it can then be purified from that. And diabetics need that to stay alive. Now, when they process it, any bacteria are killed. You just get a pure preparation of the insulin at the end of it. And then your diabetic will use it. How harmful is that?
How many drugs we get. Look at how many drugs we have that are built, that are synthesized from, Chinese hamster ovary. It's the best mammalian system for drug production and therapeutic proteins. I mean,
I've never heard that before. That's cool.
If you look at, what was it? If you look at 8 of the top 10 most profitable therapeutic antibodies, they were engineered and produced in CHO, which is a cell line from Chinese hamster that had the hamster had ovarian cancer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm stepping away for a second, but my point, I mean, Fiona hits on a terrific point that I have to say I agree 100% on, which is that, I think there are legitimate concerns when it comes to GMOs. I think that these are things that should definitely be tightly regulated, because we know what the consequences are of human manipulation of the ecosystem. It's not always good.
Mm-hmm.
But, I don't think either of us are, I at least can speak for myself, neither of us are saying there shouldn't be oversight. But let's be rational. Let's have the conversations that are important instead of this nonsense whistleblower, and I'm going to be frank here, bullshit.
I've got a question, though. If you take an organism and you carry out a genetic manipulation on it, so you insert a gene from a different organism, okay? And it's then expressed. Let's just say we take a fish gene and we put it into a tomato plant. What is this supposed risk to humans of eating that genetically modified tomato? We eat fish, we eat tomatoes. And when we eat fish and when we eat tomatoes, we are ingesting their DNA. What is it about a piece of fish DNA being in a tomato that then makes it harmful to us? And this is a question I've never got an answer to.
There we go. Have my mic off. Yeah, I think it's the fact that it's just icky. Like they think that there's something, I guess, inherently sacred about us humans, that we can't have anything else inside of us. Ironically enough, we ingest other organisms for our survival, and that's fine. But we just can't incorporate other animals or organisms, I should say, inside of those and then consume them. You got to keep the peas and the mashed potatoes separately. You can't eat them together.
Yeah, Gene probably thinks that that the evil GMO companies are going around with syringes and injecting every single rice with poison that will kill us all.
I've heard this argument too. Like, I've heard that that people think that when you eat something, its DNA gets into your DNA, and if its DNA is not pure, like you eat a banana, like for instance, and it's not actually a whole banana DNA, it's banana and something else, or a tomato and a fish DNA, for example, then it's going to mess with your DNA somehow and give you some dread condition.
In
like
theology,
you eat a lot of carrots and you turn orange, yeah.
In theology, it's called presenting your body to Christ. Be always prepared to present an unblemished vessel to Christ on the day of judgment.
Something along those lines, yes, Gary.
If I could just explain about what this fish tomato thing is about. Everybody knows tomatoes. They need reasonably warm temperatures to grow, and they get very easily damaged by colder temperatures. So what they do is they take what we call an antifreeze protein gene that you find in some of the cold water teleost fish, and they put that into the tomato plant. And it means that that protein can function at a low temperature. So you can now grow your tomatoes, maybe not in a greenhouse.
How does it, just out of curiosity, this is sort of unrelated, how does it function? Is it similar to sort of how, I know that heat shock proteins help maintain the integrity of protein folding so that you don't get too many aggregates of misfolded proteins. Is it similar with antifreeze proteins? Do they just maintain the kinetics of the necessary reactions? I don't know.
I'm actually looking it up.
AFA3 gene.
Yeah, to get the full details of it. But all it does is it broadens the temperature range in which you can grow your tomatoes.
Thickens the skin, doesn't it? Because I think it all has to do with the skin, right?
It says I'm on uniprot.org and it says ice binding.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's an antifreeze protein.
Can you send me that?
A lot of people think though.
Oh wait, no, before. Can you send me that Uniprot ID?
Yeah.
A lot of people think that the GMOs are actually going, if you ingest them now, that in the future you'll get something like autism or something. I've heard that a lot too.
But I'd love for them to explain the mechanism.
Yeah, because there'd have to be in there somewhere, wouldn't it? Like, it's just, I don't know.
One of the things we've been doing for donkey's years, and you can go and check this out, is we've got thousands and thousands of varieties of potatoes, oodles of potatoes. And every variety of potato, you can check back and find out how that variety was made. And what the information will give you is what the cross was to make that potato. Because, I mean, yeah, everybody knows potato plants, they reproduce by making potatoes, tubers that you can plant up for another plant. But a lot of people don't realise that potato plants also flower. And so what potato breeders do is cross-pollination. So you can look back in the history and find out how certain varieties arose, what the breeder, what the cross-pollination was. And they pick a variety with one characteristic that they want, and another variety with another characteristic they want, and they do a cross-pollination. And they're hoping that some of the progeny will then have that combination of the two desired characteristics. Now, some of the progeny will have none of the desired characteristics, but some of them might have the combination together in one plant. And that is then brought on through as a new variety of potato. And this is how we've managed to breed in resistance to certain potato diseases. So that's a crude form of genetic modification. But what I will say is that what we mean by genetic modification these days is that you've actually spliced in a gene from something else. But crossbreeding of animals, of plants, etc., selective breeding, all the rest of it, is a form of genetic modification. It's not directed in any way. You just see what you get and cull out what you don't like. Now we have ways of actually constructing what we want without all the waste.
It happens a lot in marijuana too. They don't argue about that though, do they? You can cross-pollinate every marijuana plant. You'll never hear anyone complaining about that.
No.
Yeah. Blueberry and
Well, we've been we've been crossbreeding stuff forever. Like, I mean, that's how we have dog breeds. But for some reason, that gets kind of glossed over in these conversations. But that's one of the main ways that you can change something's genetics. But it seems to me, and I don't know if like it sounded like it to you, Fiona, that when he would talk about GMOs, you could almost replace GMO with like mutagen, and that's what it seemed like.
No, I think that you could change it with processed. Now, what the processing entails is another matter. But I get the impression that he thinks that in processing the food, you add mutagens. Well, no, because we process our food after it's basically been culled. So it ain't going to mutate. So why put mutagens in it? And here's another thing. Can anybody tell me something that we use and we have in our diet, you know, as part of our actual diet, that isn't either plant or animal? Leave out the various things, like corn, etc. Just leave that out for the time being. But just looking at the normal, natural diet, we only ever eat plants or animals. Something that's previously been living, growing, reproducing.
Yeah, and whatever we inhale.
There are some minerals like salt that we have, right? But that's a spice. Really, that's not food stuff.
It's not really nutrition, that. But this is what I'm finding so difficult to wrap my head around, that if you just take the whole thing right back to the very basics and start asking these questions, you don't get answers. You get no answer of what is the mechanism by which this fish tomato is going to harm a human. You never get an answer. You get vague things like, oh, it's foreign DNA. But the point I'm making about the fact that we eat animals or plants is that everything we eat has got DNA in it. Everything. Bread. Where does bread come from?
The outside chat's mentioning mushrooms, but mushrooms are alive too.
Yeah, they're alive too, and they have DNA. So everything that we eat has got DNA in it. Why is it suddenly awful if you have this fish tomato or tomato fish? Why would that be dangerous to you? Would it be just as dangerous to have salmon with a tomato dressing on it? You are ingesting DNA all the time.
Well, there could be. I mean, there could be some mechanism by which, let's say, that protein is actually harmful, right? Like, I'll concede that there's some it's possible, but bare possibility. Actually, that's not an argument.
But then you would need to stop eating cod.
Yeah, I mean, it's this whole thing.
I've heard. Yeah,
it's this magical.
That, yeah, but what I've heard from people is that, it was designed by God. Down these things a certain way, and and when you go through and change them, your body can't break them down. Those things get into your system and mutate your system.
Utter
I don't know
nonsense.
People who also live in modern societies with modern agriculture, which is certainly not what God intended. So.
Well, has anybody looked into what happens to the DNA that you ingest after you've chewed it up and swallowed it?
It dissolves.
It's broken down in the stomach.
Finally.
These people are so fucking stupid about this stuff. Like, they don't think, like, if it was all about the DNA being just super foreign and weird,
you wouldn't eat anything.
Yeah, it wouldn't make sense. Humans. I wonder if G-Man would make that argument. He probably would. He's not very smart.
I mean,
Like I find it hilarious. He's upholding milk as like some standard of food, and no one has anyone bothered to tell him that like the human digestive system is just not equipped to. Most people are not equipped to drink milk. Like as they get older, like your digestive system gets less and less efficient.
Well, those that are lactose intolerant are the wild type, so to speak, and those that are lactose tolerant are the mutant version.
Right. There's a specific gene that it actually provides for that.
Yeah, it's a gene that's produced up to the age of about whose product is produced up to the age of 2. The lactase gene, which allows you to digest lactose. But after the age of 2, it switches off. But in some people, the switch mechanism is broken. It doesn't switch off. Those people are able to drink milk without any side effects.
Lucky motherfuckers.
The lactose
That's me.
intolerant people, the lactose intolerant people are those that have got a broken switch. Sorry, those that have a switch that still works. So they stop producing lactase. They can no longer digest lactose. So all of that lactose is now available for all the bugs in their gut. And that's why they go all gassy and end up with all sorts of digestive problems. Because they
that's really interesting.
And all those people's ancestors live in Wisconsin and France.
Right.
And
That's it.
Well,
That is interesting.
I think I should take the time to say that clearly we never learn from each other in these chats.
Yeah. Oh no, no one ever learns anything.
A very luxuriously haired man. Noted.
we had
Just luxurious hair. That's great, man. Because I was thinking he was talking shit to Drag, and I'm like, look at this guy with these wavy locks in his hair. Come on now.
Well, I find it odd that the guy that looks so much like a lesbian is
For real.
I'm not. He looks like he's really good at softball, guys.
I hate to ask this, but I've missed any discussion about drag sexuality. What's brought this on?
Oh, remember when
Ronnie he declared that drag was a bisexual drag, lack rate.
What?
Yeah, remember when we were doing TST just yesterday, and I said I met the transsexual woman, and then she and I had a conversation that if someone is a passable transsexual woman, I would be attracted to her because I am attracted to the female form. And then we went into detail where she asked me, well, would you have a relationship, like a long-term intimate relationship with someone, that is trans? And I was like, no. And like in a very respectful way. And so he took that for drag's bisexual. And I said, what? Hold on for a second. Me saying that I'm secure about my sexuality and that I find the female form attractive and that I would not have a long-term intimate relationship with a trans woman, that got translated into me being gay.
Oh, that's so gay. Well, so
what?
How? Do it. Do your do it. This is perfect time for it.
I am. It won't come out, as the actress said to the bishop.
Right. That's good.
So
as Mr. Cross said, TE said that he was bisexual, not bisexual.
Yeah. How sweet.
Oh. It's just, oh God. Message for Ronnie. Stop making shit up to slander people. Period.
I heard somewhere that's illegal.
Oh, just unreal.
I think it's funny though. Just a quick note. Nestle wanted to know who all in the hangout is lactose intolerant. So
I just drank a cup of milk.
I have milk
drink
in my coffee every day.
We actually had.
Depends. I'm lactose intolerant, but it depends on what milk it is. Like driving, all over the states. Like G-Man said, milk tastes different everywhere you go, and some milks give me gassy, and some milks don't.
Well, we had a big long thread about lactose tolerance and how this is evidence of evolution in humans, in that they've evolved a way to exploit another source of nutrients, and why this would end up spreading through the human population, because it is conferring an advantage over others. Because milk, everybody knows milk is very nutritious, but if you are made ill by drinking it, then you can't drink it. If suddenly you've got this faulty switch, so you still make the required enzyme, suddenly this whole new nutrient source has opened up to you. And it seems that these mutations are thought to have popped up, actually become fixed within the human population after humans started herding animals.
Makes sense.
It does.
I did check into some of that milk though, and the reason some of the milk tastes different is the way they process it. Some companies use high heat, which kills off a lot of bacteria, which makes the milk last longer on the shelves.
Yeah.
So there's less bacteria.
Homogenization,
flavor
right?
Also.
Homogenization.
Yeah. So they blast it with, I think it's the ultraviolet and high heat, and it kills more bacteria than other companies. So
I'm going to ask.
And then my other question was, when G-Man like and I was watching a video and G-Man said something about it doesn't taste like real milk. When was the last?
Bob just went in a tunnel.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Hold on,
I'm
Bob.
in Virginia.
I don't know what the robot version of you said, Bob.
Bring back regular Bob. I hate.
I want to hear it because there's. Yeah, I heard it was. It sounds like it was gonna be a good question there.
There people.
Bob, great.
Yes.
people.
Bob's lives matter.
People caught comments that G-Man made in the Hangout that I completely forgot, so he probably did catch something. Go try it, Bob.
Let me get out of this long tunnel there.
Okay. Well, while
I'm
you do
thinking
that.
about you, Greg.
Oh, thank you.
I'm thinking about you while I'm in this tunnel.
Yeah, that's what he said. I don't know how to respond to that. Well,
we can now officially say somebody in the GBC has tunnel vision.
Mrs. Dragnot, is Mr. Dragnot lactose intolerant?
Yes.
Yes. You usually say it with much more vigor every time I get a milkshake.
Yeah, I'm sure you get the parts, huh? The milk part.
There's a funny story when I was in. This is not about my education, I promise. When I was in the Army, I would drink. Big surprise, right? And after I'd spend a night drinking, I would go to the Troop Medical Center where I was working as a paraprofessional to the physician assistants, and we would go conduct our morning physical training there. I would release the nastiest farts alive. And the TMC, and then one of the PAs was walking through the corridor because he was heading out for his exercise, and it looked like he hit an invisible wall, and he went, "Holy shit, what is that?" And he just looks at me, and I'm saying, "Sorry, sir," and he goes, "Holy shit, Hims, what did you eat?" And I said, "I just had some beers last night." So he said, we're gonna have a talk about that. That's not healthy."
Private, keep that private.
I was a specialist then. No, I wasn't. I was a private. I was a specialist. But yeah,
that sounds better. It's only funny when I say private though.
Yeah, it was really like he hit an invisible wall, and it was terrible because then Captain Edmonds was just dying.
Reds is the live chat, so now we have two people here whose sexuality has been made fun of by GMOs.
Uh-oh. Oh no, Red's that. Well, I can personally attest to Red's sexuality. Let me just throw that out there right now.
What was his complaint against bisexuality, by the way?
God.
That was it?
That was, yeah, he just called me a bisexual, and that was just kind of it.
Shit.
And the guys that he likes don't like him. That's the real problem.
He would not have done well in the Roman Empire. Bisexuality was the norm.
There's nothing wrong with Trapsio.
No, yeah, that's a funny thing. Wolf King is the only one in the Hangout that would actually have sex with the trans woman I met, and out of anyone here. But
I wouldn't.
I've heard people say that they would, but they never have. So I don't have I'm the type of person where I don't believe it until verification when it comes to that kind of stuff.
You need video confirmation.
Would you rather see Wolf?
Like, I don't know that Ronnie is a lesbian, but I think he is. She is. Veronica.
Yeah, I left a comment in his things, talking shit to him, talking about how he looks like a girl from the backside. There was more involved with it, but it pissed me off when he said that shit.
Sorry.
No, Barney. TE made a video where he called me a bisexual, and I'm just like, all right.
Wait, why didn't he call you faggy drag? That would have been awesome. Or just
that would have been great. Faggy draggy.
Drag likes. Drag likes drags.
Why are there
there's so many
added insults? I have to say.
I know.
Because like Steve McDummy or hog tie idiot, like
it doesn't even rhyme.
You're a crap head. Yeah,
like I can say that I've done some gay shit. Like I've slept, almost butt naked with a bunch of men in the back of a truck. But that was for job.
No, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. Aristotle said wit is educated insolence, and I doubt G-Man has that quality.
Well, he's insolent.
Yeah. He's a comedy insolence.
Yeah, there's that.
Mr. Crest said fagnot.
Yeah.
See, right there. There you go. That's good. That's real good.
Fagnot is way better. I'm going to call you fagnot.
We can pull insults out of our asses.
I am going to create a sock account called Fagnot Silver.
Yes.
Somebody do that. Put a wig.
Someone doesn't do that. If someone doesn't do that before me, and
put Ronnie's hair on your head. Put Ronnie's glorious hair on your head.
Fagnot Silvis.
Saliva.
That's gonna be a way better. I think that's a better sock account than True and Purithism or Steve Black.
Yeah.
Oh God. Okay.
And Ronnie wonders why people get pissed off with him.
Well, he hates drama, by the way. He hates drama.
He hates.
That's why.
I mean, that's the only thing he could have said to Drag, right? Drag was insulting his job, and everything else, and he can't come back on anything on Drag. So what else would he have but his masculinity?
I always look for the irony, and the irony of somebody who could actually pass if they put a dress on.
Yep.
Calling drag is bisexual is just beyond irony.
Yeah.
Now, it's just, I have actually dressed up in drag for like a high school benefit or something like that, and I make a very ugly woman. I'm just going to confirm that right now. My mother gave me a dress, and
You're not doing your makeup right. No.
Also, it seems like fucking a man in the ass is pretty masculine. It sounds pretty.
Who said that? Oh, it was I think it was Dave Chappelle who said that actually.
Yeah,
it was Dave Chappelle. But you think about it, it's like that was more manly. Oh, I'm gonna watch that tonight. But
Dave Chappelle, man, that was some good stuff. Everything Dave Chappelle says is good.
If people like my comedy, I get it from Richard Pryor and Dave Chappelle, and a little bit of Louis Black. So now
Louis Black is great too.
Yeah, that's a little bit of Dennis Leary, just a tiny smidgen, just a bit. So Bob, you said you were what were you going to say before you turned into a cyborg?
No, the whole G-Man mentioned, we're talking about the milk and how G-Man mentioned that, milk doesn't taste like milk anymore, or like real milk. Never had his mouth on a tit of a cow and drank milk. I mean,
he hasn't had it on the tit of a woman.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a booby. It's a booby to him.
I'm not.
I don't understand what the.
Right, guys. I've just looked at True Empiricism's video, right? I've not actually watched the video, but I'm looking at the comments underneath it. And G-Man's chimed in, saying, Drag says he's bisexual? ? To which True Empiricism has replied, he didn't use those words, but he talked about how transgender men were, quote, sexy and attractive. But he is secure in his sexuality, so he isn't gay or bi. To which G-Man replied, True Empiricism, lol. He's scared to come out of the closet, I guess.
How blind
Shame
can they be?
on
There's-
you both. Shame
Real.
on you both.
Oh, he called me. He called me to talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Shame on you both.
They say they don't like drama, yet they sit there and talk like a bunch of schoolgirls in a bathroom.
No, I'll tell you what's really bugging me about this, though. Number one, they're using this to try and insult drag. Being gay or being bisexual is not an insult. That's the first thing.
That's what I put in the comment
The
underneath.
second thing, yeah, but the second thing is, your comment will get deleted probably. But the second thing about this is, try the 9th commandment, guys. You are so intent on telling every other bugger to read their Bible and do what it says. And I would say to you, forget the Bible. Just read the 9th commandment and do what it says. Thou shalt not bear false witness. And none of the other commandments in there say anything about homosexuality. None of the other commandments say anything about bisexuality. But it seems that God in the Bible saw fit to say, thou shalt not bear false witness.
Mm-hmm.
So the pair of you, pack it in, because you're malicious little gits. And I'm finished. Thank you,
I love
guys.
hearing you talk. I love hearing you talk.
Honestly, I'm so angry at this. I am so angry at this.
Me too.
The only thing I have a problem with,
because
Fiona, there is your choice of the word bugger, but that's it.
Yeah, well, to be quite honest, the pair of them can go off and bugger each other with a fish fork for all I care. This is the thing. I mean, and I know this annoys Jade as well. That they sit in judgment of other Christians. You're not a real Christian. This, that, and the next thing.
Yeah.
But they will happily do this sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
They will break the commandments. And the 9th one isn't the only one that's been broken. I mean, it's a safe bet. So, this is what annoys me.
Well,
Don't stand there and preach and tell everybody else how to be a good Christian.
Yeah.
If you can't even manage to not tell deliberate lies about somebody else.
Hypocrisy. It's a lot of hypocrisy.
All it has to do with G-Man is it's all about the drama and the attention.
Yeah, he's a wrestling star. He wants to be a wrestling star.
Well, yeah, well, everyone told him that his Black Hebrew Israelite videos were good, that he should do that, right? But nobody was really making comments about it or going after him about it or responding to him about it. So he gave up on that, and he looks for controversial comments and things to say, so people will confront him face to face, and then they can have this back and forth, and he can play his little game of drama.
Yes, his whole thing is to try and say.
Yeah, I mean that's how he gets through his life.
Yeah,
he needs
what a drama queen.
That.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean,
his whole thing is to try and find the next thing.
Yeah, he should go back to the Black Hebrew Israelites, and people will praise him. But why doesn't he want the praise? He wants the arguments and the dismissals and the and the condescending and the insults.
Yeah,
that's what he seems like he wants.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it shows how badly they actually read people. Because I mean, of all the people, again, on all my interactions with drag, it's never even crossed my mind there would be any. I don't mean to insult you, drag, but you've always seemed very heterosexual to me. So it just.
Your wife might have something to say about that, right?
How can they not see this? Right?
I mean, theology and politics aside, I mean, it just seems like some juvenile high school bullshit.
Exactly. I mean, they could misread people that badly and still consider themselves rational.
Yeah.
I think what's more important, other than drags, besides drag sexuality, which I don't think is important, is the fact that the one person, the one person in our community who G-Man has met and desperately wants to sleep with is sleeping with one of his sworn enemies. So I think that's enough.
Yeah, that is a big,
that hurts.
A big thing.
You're talking Shandy, are you?
Don't make me play it. Don't make me play it.
Play it.
Sam, I'm not gonna mess with Sam ever, man, because Sam, you can really hurt people on here. You're good. You're good.
Doesn't
fucking people up.
He doesn't think I'm you know, I'm an athlete, for instance. He's like, you have no talents outside of science. I'm like, I don't know about that, man. I do not know.
Boy, wouldn't it be nice to get him one-on-one, you and Sam and you.
He wants to meet
G-Man.
me, like, really desperately, and I'm like, dude, that's not. But just to back up my claim, I will screen share a photo from college. Let me see if I can.
While you find that, I'm going to find.
And you do
cringe.
MMA. You do MMA.
No, I do jujitsu.
G-Man is looking for the next major thing, the next major thing to get him on the DP again, Drunken Peasants. That's all he's doing, it seems to me.
Come on, Sam. You know jiu-jitsu is the gateway drug to MMA.
I trained.
Is this photo your cute behind in your wrestling tights or what?
No. This is from college when I was.
Your leotard?
No, this is. I'm in short shorts. So there's that. But this was at a big meet.
Hey, there you go.
And that is me, very, very insistently trying to outrun.
Very like Mark Zuckerberg. Very Mark Zuckerbergish right now.
I can't run like G-Man, you know, just college track meet.
I bet he could ride a bike better than you. No.
The G-Man
ride a bike and talk on the phone.
But you know what can happen, folks? Do you realize what can actually happen?
G-Man, and then G-Man's like, fuck you. And then I'm like, fuck you, G-Man. Fuck you, man. You could have had this pussy. You could have been eating this pussy every night. You could have been sucking my titties and eating my pussy every night, but you decided not to for what? YouTube. You fucking dumbass. And then...
I'm going to throw up.
I tell you, I would be on the phone right now.
She is the
realist.
realist.
The cut eyes to get him in that fucking tight wedge of a vagina? Like what?
Tight.
Who would want?
Who knows if she's tight? She said that she slept with like over 200 dudes.
I would still,
including TJ.
I would still say that
TJ, so
Shani would put it on him without
How many nights, Sam?
I don't actually. I'm not curious to find out the answer to that.
In a way, he's kind of getting like the Amazing Atheist sloppy seconds or thirds or how, like what number, whatever number.
Within a marathon's distance, I think she's got a fair chance.
Yeah, I think Jonah would want to fuck Shamu in this case. Like just reverse deep with that shit.
Love's the weirdest thing out there, so why not, right? You never know.
Shani is a realist. Oh, Immutable Destiny. This was from a video that Shani made, I want to say about a week ago. And it is called, I'll tell you in just a second.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Might as well be.
It is shit, I just lost it. I'm sorry.
Indiana
I am
Jones in the Kingdom of the Silicon.
She's all natural, folks. I am a dumbass and I don't care. She was kind of lamenting about losing her job, and she got drunk and she got honest. So you know what? If
she lost her job,
well, I think she got it back, but she had lost her job, and of course she does what everyone else does when they get fired. They drink, and then she got really honest. Really honest. Really honest.
Oh
yeah. I love it. I love the honesty. I love how raw it is, and I'm sure G-Man does too.
Yeah, absolutely. That's all right. I don't find it particularly astounding. You know what I mean? I felt like that to other women before. You know, you could have had this. You know what I mean?
It's real.
Just walk around, you know, just wear gray sweatpants around her, intimidate. Well, I can't even say that because I was okay. Never mind. I won't say that. Anyway, it's too raw. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this whole, I don't know what's going on. Like there's Hannah. You might want to get your camera off. There you go. Okay. Hello. Welcome, Hannah.
Yeah, sorry. I actually just clicked it for it to turn off, and then it's like, oh wait, did you double click? Let me turn your camera on for you.
How do you feel about the fact that your position as G-Man's potential usurped by Shani.
How
do you deal with that on the emotional level?
Could be.
I don't know. I mean, I'm just like, fuck. I just wanted someone to go watch the new Star Wars movie with, so I bought us like the RPX tickets on opening night. So there's that.
Is it in a possible world? Is it possible that you can consider dating him if you died and came back as a bum bitch?
Making him the cuck he is perfect.
Oh my god, like the fucking deity of fucking hookups now, are you?
All right, I got
would be
nice for happy hour. Thanks for having me, Trav.
All right, see you, man. Thanks for coming.
See you, Sam.
Bye, Sam.
I'll try to rejoin if you guys are still going on.
Later, my dude.
Yeah, we sussed out a lot.
Try to join if you still have the motor function to actually click the button to join. Yes.
I'm just saying, I'm pretty sure if you put it in this possible universe where you put it on him, he'd probably be thanking the Lord Jesus for.
Why does it always gotta go weird, man? Why you always gotta go weird about me and G, man? Why can't it just be platonic, man?
Well, what could he
He's
have?
so thirsty for you. It's so hilarious.
Yeah, guys, I'm going to leave you to it. I don't think I'm well enough for this conversation.
Yeah, Fiona, leave before my fever spikes again.
Oh yeah, right. See you later.
I'll see you later.
Nice knowing you.
I'm just teasing. It's all good.
Oh god. No, I was just wondering what sparked. I'm still trying to figure out what sparked true empiricism to call you bisexual. I don't know what you said.
He watched Chalk and Shit Tuesday, and he needed something on me, and he knows that you can say a lot to me, and I really don't care. But he thought that calling me bisexual was for some reason going to, I guess, anger me. I think he missed me saying that I'm secure with my sexuality, so I'm not sure why he thought calling me bisexual was going to have
said
effect.
that. No, he said you were secure with your sexuality.
Yeah, but that's the strange thing.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, wait,
he doesn't know what it means, I don't think.
Oh, yeah, that's true. He probably doesn't understand. Like, I've been in the shower with a bunch of fucking dudes ass naked.
Wait, hold on. If he knows the context, how is it a criticism or an attack? Like, what the hell?
That's what I was confused about. That's why I was like, I'm going to show. I was like, no.
That's weird.
That's like he's one of those guys that I would assume he says like guys can't be raped, right? I feel like
that's a good call. Yeah.
He would be the type because when drag is trying to relay to everybody is like this trans woman is you wouldn't think that this person was born a man because their transition was very successful, right? It was like seamless. So unless she told you probably wouldn't have guessed. But your body doesn't know that, right? It's just going to react to whatever visual cues and auditory cues and smells that you receive. So for all you know, there could have been plenty of guys in his class that could have gotten an erection, and then once they found out it was a trans woman, they're probably like, shit, bad boy.
I think the dude next to me had one because he didn't want to speak at all. Like every conversation, like every lecture that we're in, he's always talking. Like he's a fellow veteran, right? He and I have a really good rapport with one another. He didn't say shit the entire class period, and Dr. Hostin noted that. He said, "Your buddy next to you didn't say anything." I noticed he was real uncomfortable. And I said, "Yeah, you probably had an erection." We were laughing about it. Because
that's exactly my point. Because it's totally normal. It's okay if your body reacts to something like that. You can't control that. It's not like you can control it on a normal day, let alone can you control it when a guest like that pops up. Especially if you're not used to it.
Well, to be totally frank, it's reacting to the feminine in what you're perceiving. So there's nothing odd about it.
There's no conscious control. Your body's simply reacting to what it likes. The same thing when you wake up in the morning after having a really good dream, right? The result is simply what you imagine your subconscious, fantasizing about. You don't have control of that.
Yeah, but then they do think that you can choose to be gay.
But that's exactly where I'm getting my point. Like he would be the type to say guys can't be raped because then they would put forth the argument, oh well, if a guy doesn't want it, he doesn't have to perform or something. Like they don't understand the intricacies of, well, even women get orgasms or whatever when being raped because it's just a bodily reaction to what's happening. They have no control over it.
Yeah, I'm sure if he spent a year in prison that he would change his mind about the men being raped thing.
Oh yeah, and listen, if he got pegged a few times, he would figure out that you can actually have an orgasm and not actually have to touch your dick.
Yeah, hey, the G-spot's 3 inches to the left and up.
Listen, a guy's G-spot is in his asshole for a reason.
Yeah, exactly what I said when I went on the Bible Thumping Wingnut show. I was talking to Rappaport, telling the same thing.
You can't say that to them.
Oh yeah, he was like, whoa, 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 and I was like, well, you got to think about it. We get aroused, you cannot make
Through the
yourself be
butthole.
aroused to a man. If you're aroused to a man, that's nothing wrong. It just means you like men. And he's like, no, everyone controls their sexuality. Yeah, right. Come on.
But I mean, like a quick 5-minute observation. Like I don't even need to be a dude to realize that a quick 5-minute observation, you could tell. Yeah, I can't control every random desire that my carnal body all of a sudden decides, right? Like let's say I have a hankering for fucking hamburgers, right? I can't control the fact that I've got a craving, but I can control the fact that I won't buy a hamburger. But having physical arousal is entirely different. Like it's the same concept. You can't control the arousal; it just happens. You don't have to have sex with the person. No.
That's true. But I propose a law that says like any passable traps they have to be sodomized, like on the regular. Like that. That's my new policy.
Like, how often do you think is often enough?
3 times a day.
A day? What is this, like fucking they're praying to the sodomy lord? That's pretty extensive.
That's a pretty good offering. I'm just saying.
For real,
They're gonna get for sure.
Do they have to face north or south when they're getting pegged? Like I don't, this is like the Muslim religion of sodomy. I don't get why you have to pay so many times per day.
Oh fuck yeah!
I don't know. I mean, it's just they can get it. Just know that.
Noted.
Wolf, did I show you the picture of me and the trans woman?
No.
I want to see it. I didn't see it either.
I'll show you.
Hey, do you want to dig that hole any deeper there, Drake?
Hey, I'm smiling in the picture too.
I bet you are.
I can't see it.
Because she's genuinely a nice person.
People are good people, and that's the end of it.
I'm smiling in my mugshot.
I wasn't.
This is before I shaved. Look at her. Like you'd know now because I told you. But if you saw her from behind, you'd never know.
Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed. And
not
that it particularly.
You couldn't guess. Yeah,
I definitely would not have guessed.
That's an attractive looking man. No,
yeah, that's pretty attractive. I mean,
she looks good.
It does have a very masculine face, though. He does have a masculine face.
I don't suppose you got that picture of Ronnie that I sent to you, Drag?
It would screw Ronnie's head up, though.
Which one was that?
It was just some random Facebook page I found.
Oh, hold on, let me check my messages.
Have her meet G-Man and trying to get a relationship going on. No, don't do that to her. She looks too nice.
No, she's actually getting married soon. And it was funny because when I told her my last name, and she's like, "Oh, it's my husband's last name," and I was like, "Really?" I was like, "Well, how many M's does he have?" Well, it's just 2. I was like, oh, "Okay, no, yeah, he's okay." And I'd explain to her the difference in the number of M's. Yeah, for those of you who know my last name. Did you send it to me on G Plus, Simus? Where is?
Yeah, it was on G Plus. I'm just looking myself.
Because I'm looking. Okay, I'm looking at the messages. Okay, it must have just been on G Plus.
Definitely G Plus. That's the only one I use, right?
All right. I gotta forward that. I just got your message. Hold on.
That'll be a shame. Let me see if I can. I might have saved it.
I had a bunch of pictures of people had of Ronnie, especially the porn stars who had more education than Ronnie. That was a good one. I need to find that one again.
This actually wasn't Ronnie. This was a girl, an Italian girl on Facebook that I'm friends with.
Fuck no.
And she's a trans?
No, no. She just looks like Ronnie.
Oh. Well.
I'm surprised she didn't get back to me on it, but I'll see if I saved it. You never know. It's just someone I randomly came across on Facebook. I don't even think I friended her.
Well, you better be careful, because if you say too much, you might be thought to be bisexual in this community all of a sudden.
Bro,
I think I have a simple one.
I mean, to be fair, Red's only checked out my ass one time in public, and now all of a sudden everybody's saying we were in a relationship, and then it just happened. So shit can happen.
Cool.
Well,
That's true.
That kind of happened because I orchestrated it, but that's another story. Oh, did you send it?
Oh yeah, definitely. You're the fucking mastermind behind the whole thing.
Ronnie, you faggot, you look like a girl.
Did you send it to the Dragnot Facebook or my actual Facebook?
No, I think I sent it on G Plus to you.
Okay.
I'm hoping because that means I've got a copy of it. That's what I'm trying to think of doing.
It's dragthefag@gmail.com.
No, it's Fagnot. No, it's Fagnot.
No, he says it's Fagnot. Fagnot.
Fagnot.
Yeah.
Fagnot Sylvius.
Oh.
I thought it was Fagnot Dildas.
That is Dildo Baggins.
Right, here we go.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I hooked up Reds and Hannah. I have no shame. I had a part in it. I had a hand.
Yeah, totally.
You did it to spite someone, didn't you?
No.
He just kept telling Reds the possibility of anal, and then he just wouldn't shut the fuck up about it. And then Drag wouldn't shut the fuck up about it, and then I got fed up.
She gave in. And
No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
That old story.
Did she give in to the anal? Or did she give in to? This is kind of getting confusing right now.
So
Say it slowly. Say it slowly. No.
So basically, it was speculation over whether or not you were a back Dorothy.
Is that what they call them now?
Yeah, basically that's if you're taking it up the Hershey Highway.
It's almost as awkward as.
They're called peg heads.
Is that I don't know what any of this stuff is called. Like I just recently learned what my little brother is. My little brother's gay, and I just recently learned like what type of gay guy he is.
What is he? The bottom, top,
a top.
So he's aggressive. He's on top.
I get, but he's not aggressive. Like he's just I don't know. Like I try not to imagine my little brother, doing a dude in the butt, but like
hunching down on a dude.
That's just me. But I was
getting his hunch on.
I know because he's just a big dude. That's all. Like I'm big, but he's shorter, but he's my weight. If that makes sense.
Like a bear? Is he what they call? Is that they call him like a bear or something?
He has to be hairy. But he's not hairy.
Does he give him that Fleece Johnson kind of love?
Doesn't have to.
Bear has to be hairy. Yeah, bear has to be.
So he's a pitch. Yeah. So he's a pitcher, not a catcher. He pitches,
my
not
roommate was gay, and he was always out and about. We'd go karaoke every night, and he'd use me as bait.
Hey, Drag.
He would use me as bait. Yeah, he put my picture on whatever that is.
On Grindr.
Yeah.
Likely story.
No, for real. I'm not
put my
joking.
picture up there, and all these guys kept coming up to me.
No. Then they'd come to the house, and then he'd pop out.
Are you Supercut 73?
Yep. No. No, he was a crazy old bastard.
Hey, Drag, is your brother a warrior like Fleece Johnson?
No, he's not a booty warrior. No, he's my little brother's actually very fickle when it comes to dudes. Very, very fickle. I learned that. Because I mean, he has like no compunction about talking about his sexuality and like if he likes a dude or not, or but he's very, very fickle. He kind of reminds me of Jade, how Jade goes about. Because I don't know how many of you've actually discussed like sexuality with Jade, but she's very, very fickle. Not fickle. That's not a good word. She's very selective about who she would actually engage in an intimate relationship with, and it's just because people, I guess, have this idea that people who are gay or bisexual or whatever, they just fuck anything. All right, see you later, Hannah.
Yeah, they have no standards.
So not true too. Yeah.
It's like if you're a male gay, that's what all heterosexual gay men usually think, that all gay men would fuck them if they had the opportunity.
Oh yeah. And
that's what they're afraid
funny.
of. Yeah, that's the main.
Like, guy hit on me. It's like, no, you're not that good looking. So don't don't mistake you being a male as in you could also get male booty. That's not how that works.
But I would say if let's say you know how you have like when I remember we used to play football. I used to play football like in high school. I remember we used to always say like let's say if we're in the shower when I fell and our swords happened to cross. I think I'd have to kill that guy because I can't be mad at you 10 years later and be like, yo, you was in the shower when our dicks touch and I'm not talking to this guy anymore. We would like have a serious problem for that for a little while.
No sword fighting then, huh?
I can't look at you. I can't talk to you. You know, it's like going to be my little secret. Like, oh my god. Not to say there's anything wrong with it, but it would be, you know,
just a little awkward. Just a tip.
It's a little awkward.
Eyes wide shut there.
Nope, can't find it.
I think I had a buddy when I was in the Army. We washed each other's backs. That was good times. Definitely good times. Because you can't. Yeah.
But with true empiricism, though, it's when somebody's so hyper anti-gay, it seems that they usually have some gay tendencies that they're fighting and struggling with on their own.
Yeah, and that's what's funny is like those gay, those closeted Republican senators who are like the most vitriolic and vocal anti-gay advocates. They're the ones found with like, you know, male prostitutes and shit.
And meth. They're always meth and prostitutes.
Yeah, meth and prostitutes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I could do the whole rubbing the back thing with Ronnie, but I could hose him down pretty good. You know,
well,
do it like that.
If Ronnie crossed swords with someone on accident, his mouth would you get on his knees and his mouth would drop open probably.
Start salivating. But
he probably would buy them Popeye's chicken.
He gets a hard on. He gets a hard on when he smells a fart.
Don't tempt me. Dragnet, do they drop the soap in the Army? Okay, so here's what happens. Here's a secret. We all know who's gay. We all know who the gay guy is. And the secret is nobody cares. Because he usually doesn't want to do anything with anybody in the unit anyway, because that causes problems. So if someone does drop the soap, and it's just a bunch of us straight guys, half of us married, half of us are, you know, fucking the females that are in the next company over, we make a big deal out of it, and it becomes one of those like spaghetti westerns where there's a Mexican fucking standoff, and we all sit there and be like, "Get it, motherfucker, get it."
We do the same thing up the road too. So.
Yeah, I mean that's all it is.
Yeah, someone would always yell out. Someone would yell out, "Oh, Tony dropped the soap!"
Yo, Meth, you guys know who Terry Crews is, right?
Yeah.
Do you know, like he came out saying that he was sexually harassed when he first got in Hollywood. I'm like, who would fuck with sexually harass Terry Crews? And it was another guy in front of his wife.
There's some sexual problems in Hollywood.
What he said was he was standing with his wife at an event, and a gay man comes up to him, grabs his crotch, and says, "It's about as big as I thought it was," and walks away. And he said he looks at his wife and was just like, "Can you believe that just happened?" I would have been like, I was like, wow.
We would have been fighting. We would have
took that. Yeah, he took that better than I thought he would take it as a black man from the hood, you know?
Yeah, I mean he made his fame as an office. Well, he was playing football, but the office quarterback, like YouTube videos and shit. Like, I guess because his wife was there. Because I know when my wife is around, I have to kind of watch myself and make sure because she keeps me in line.
But if somebody comes and grabs your dick, I think that's like a pass to do what you need to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I'm like, wow, man, that's.
I mean, that ain't gonna be no dick grabbing over here, man. Like that's some bullshit.
You would got headbutt real quick.
Come on, a free handy. Come on, a free handy's a free handy. I don't care where.
That's true. That's true.
As long as they got good lotion.
Yeah, you know, shit leaking.
You gotta make sure you have clean hands. Like you just can't accept that from anybody's hands. You picking your nose. You know how many times you touch your face in a day? Ew.
Eating or cleaning fish all day.
Yeah, and remember, guys, lube is not a cleaning agent.
Yeah.
Oh man, all this time I've been doing it wrong.
You laugh.
You have a random fruit up your butt and shit.
There was a stall in my bay. I'm no education stuff today, folks. Just all Army. While I was in training, we have like 60-man bays, and then we get like one bathroom per floor. So like a bunch of like 60 dudes share like one bathroom. But there was probably like 8 stalls. The stall at the far end of the bathroom.
Yeah, stall 7.
Yeah, it's broken, and so you can't piss or shit in there. So we called it the Jack Shack, and of course. It is called the Jack Shack for a reason. So what dudes would do is that once we would go to class and we would get our aid bags, some guys would take like the lubricant that we would use for like the nasopharyngeal airway tubes, and they would stuff the extra lube in their pockets, the little packages, and they would just use that to fucking beat off in the Jack Shack in the middle of the night.
Well,
True
mayonnaise.
story.
Mayonnaise is a
story.
true story up the road. Up the road, people use mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise?
Yeah.
That
And
remi-
they'd say stall 8. Whenever someone at late night, someone would go to the bathroom, they'd go, "Oh, someone's going to stall 8." Stall 8 was where all the crazy shit happened, I guess.
Reminds me of the Boy Scouts.
There you go. Reminds me of church.
Well, soon the Boy Scouts are going to be the co-ed Scouts. So
What? Really?
Yeah, that was recently reported in the news. Like it's gonna be made co-ed. They're officially allowing girls to be part of the Scouts.
So can boys sell Girl Scout cookies?
I guess.
They're going to be called Freedom Cookies.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that was better than brownies.
I mean, look. It's fine. It's fine that there are girls in there, except as long as it's no Mexicans. Allegedly.
No homosexual Mexicans.
Yeah. What was interesting about that is I heard that the Girl Guide Association was a bit pissed off about it because they were losing numbers because all the girls wanted to join the Boy Scouts.
Right.
That shows you how fucked up the Girl Scouts is. Where the only reason why I'm joining the Girl Scouts is because I don't have a dick, more or less.
Yeah. But maybe the girls want to learn the same. I could have sworn that the Girl Scouts did the same shit as the boys, except they just sold cookies. Like I don't know. I've never been in Boy Scouts, so I wouldn't know.
Apparently not. They do a lot. And of course,
they got more cooking and sewing.
The big downside of the Girl Guides is there are no boys.
Damn.
It's probably like a Toll House mill factory. That's how they sell their cookies. Like, yo, let's just throw these girls in nice uniforms and send them door to door. We'll call it the Girl Scouts.
There you go. Scout out some potential clients.
It's a conspiracy, like everything else. The great cookie conspiracy. Finally coming right.
That's going to be on Alex Jones soon. You guys heard about the Clintons? Actually, the Clinton campaign actually paid for the Trump dossier, though. That's all over the news right now.
Yeah, I heard about that. Did you hear about Alex Jones's his supplements have far too much lead in them that came out?
If you couldn't
what? That's crazy.
I know, right? That's a con man's first thing they sell is supplements. I got male vitality. It's going to make you rock fucking hard. It's also going to give you lead poisoning, but
it's going to put lead in your pencil.
Well, if you're buying stuff from Alex Jones, you need to be fucked up.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Like,
but come on, he's got such nice water filters.
What are his viewer base? Like, are people actually buying these things? Like, I guess it replaces testosterone or something.
Yeah. He gets at least a million. He gets like 1 or 2 million viewers for his fucking shows a week. Which is crazy.
I heard he gets like 40,000 like a week or a month off of just the supplements alone.
You know, I'm guessing that
or a day or a week.
I'm guessing that's mainly bald men. Then.
I guess.
And people that need vitality.
Or think they do.
Super vitality.
Or think they.
And caveman. It was a caveman something that had the lead in it.
Yeah.
Like I've seen him rage a few times. I'm like, whatever he's taking, I don't think I want that. Like I can rage pretty well on my own.
Exactly right. I know.
He seems like
he's something to not rage.
I'm pretty sure in some places they do actually call that a medical condition.
Yeah.
He's Cro-Magnon out, man. That's what's happening.
Hey, you remember? You got to look at his before and after of his weight loss. If no one's seen that, look it up. It's fucking amazing. He's sitting there flexing in the before with his shirt off, and then the next he's flexing the same way, but he's red.
Yeah,
nothing's changed. He hasn't lost weight. He's just red.
Amazing thing about
he's a fucking beat, dude.
Amazing thing about Alex Jones, he's biracial. He's white and he's also red.
He's a fucking beat, dude. He's a beat.
He's like, look at this, what this did to me. It turned him fucking red. It didn't make him smaller. You don't look like a lobster. Hook it up.
That can't be healthy. That can't be
healthy. Right? I just did the thing that Fiona was talking about, or Sam was talking about, with the oxygen making the salmon red.
He looks like an angry fucking thumb, dude. Like what the fuck?
What was that cartoon or that show with the thumbs? Oh no, it was that movie. It was the Spy Kids. That was it. Never mind.
Huh?
Where they had the army of thumb heads.
That must. Yeah, I didn't see that.
No, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's one
I
of
know
the
what you're talking about.
good things that if you weren't in the movies, you kind of passed it by.
Does Alex Jones also send? Excuse me. Does he sell like extends, like penis enhancement shit? Like, does he sell any of that? Because that would fit the profile.
No, it's called. It's called male vitality. That's his extends. His extends. It's called male vitality.
So it does actually increase your dick, like supposedly increase your dick size.
Well, that's what he said, but yeah, but that's the one that the FDA said had a lot of lead in it.
Don't it look like? Don't it look like a life-size dick? Honestly.
Yeah. Right.
Like he looks like a big old red dick.
One thing's for sure is it would give you a permanent stiffy.
Yeah, exactly.
Like really? Like you?
Yeah, he's like
low testosterone, little dick, and you're watching Alex Jones. Like I can't. Like that's kind of my picture of like his viewer base.
Yeah. Yes, and then Matt's sitting there, and you're like, he comes up. Oh, you have a low libido. Get vitality, and if that doesn't help, we got super vitality. He sells them both together. It's great, and they're $40 a piece.
Yeah. No one send the link to Ronnie.
he would totally be the type that would do that.
I mean, I don't think it works on clitoris, but hey.
Yeah, right.
Maybe
my clitoris got so big.
Maybe about 2 months ago, there was a story about a guy from California who the doctor said he only had they don't even give you a time, but they said he had a short time to live. So he took everything he had, went to Tijuana, got like a hotel room, took like Viagra, cocaine, everything, and just balled out for like the 2 or 3 days, and then went back and found out that it was a misdiagnosis.
Oh yes, and he's got all kinds of crazy critters crawling on him.
That was one hell of a weekend, though. That was one hell of a weekend. Blow all your money, all the strippers, and then find out there was a misdiagnosis.
I think he could sue and get all the money back. He'd have to be able to.
That's a loss. From the hookers? You're gonna get all the money back from the hookers?
No, from the doctor that gave him the false.
I think the hookers and drug dealers don't give refunds at that point. Like, yo, man, I'm gonna live.
Yeah, I know, right?
You're gonna have to give the pimp.
I bought some smack from you yesterday.
You're gonna have to cough that shit up and then just give the pimp head or put out to the pimp.
Yeah, right.
Return the services
listen
rendered.
Here, yeah, right. You gotta believe me, man. I thought I was gonna die. Now I need my shit back. My landlord's gonna fucking kill me.
What about his wife?
Gonna kill me. I know his wife's gonna kill me.
You know what? If like hypothetically, if your significant other had a short time to live, and they're like, you know what, I want to do whatever I can in my carnal mind, and whatever just comes to mind in my last few days, would you really care?
No, you could. At that point in time, you could do what the fuck you want, because I'm gonna do what the fuck I want after you're gone.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry. That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, "Have fun. It's all about you. It's all about you. It's okay. It's all right. Yeah, you know what? I've watched. I've watched enough. What is that movie? Apocalypse or whatever it is. I forgot what it's called. Shit. Yeah.
There are a lot of phone quakes tonight.
Yeah. Well, it always quakes. Yeah. It always kicks me off.
That was a vicious phone quake right there.
It's like every 5 minutes tonight.
Well, yeah, when you guys see my stream interrupted, that's what happens. I have to hurry up and press the fucking button. We'll press the 2 buttons.
It's funny because I've told my wife, I'm like, if we ever hit the lotto for some serious cash, like 300 mil or something, I'm automatically giving her half. Because I'm like, you can stay with me, but you got to deal with the strippers, the drugs, the hoes, the whole nine. Because I'm going to be wilding out. And I get to tell all you motherfuckers in this room how I really feel about you. Like, yo, Samos, I never liked you, motherfucker. And I'm rich, so I can say this shit now.
That's like that fuck you money.
That's true, Ed. You get to tell people how you really, you get to be how you really are.
Yeah.
That's fuck you money.
Fuck you money.
Another Dave Chappelle quote. God damn it.
We all knew when you came in here, you were going to get the chicken. Ain't no secret. That shit fucking. Blacks and chickens are quite fond of one another. That shit blew me away, man. I was like, oh, the whole the original, man, the black white supremacist. That I didn't stop laughing for a half an hour after that.
That shit was hilarious.
Man.
That's Dave Chappelle, man. People are surprised to hear that both his parents are really well educated. Extremely well. I think both of them are college professors.
Yeah, he's fucking amazing. You can tell they got good genes because their jokes fly out like no other.
That's how comedy works. It's an intelligence man's game. So the smarter you are, the better jokes you get.
Yeah. He was that first Kill Him Softly when he came out with that Kill Him Softly. That's the first time I've seen an audience on their feet more than sitting down. Like that. The dude in the limo rolling it down with a hand gesture. And, hey, baby! Hey, baby, what you doing out here? I'm selling weed. You got your whole life to live for. That shit.
Yo, you know what you have to watch? If you YouTube, Google, when you go to YouTube, in the search bar, put in Dave Chappelle Sesame Street. He has a Sesame Street one. That is hilarious.
Yes. Hey, Grouch. I'm the Grouch. I'm the poorest motherfucker on Sesame Street.
Because I live in a fucking garbage can. That's the reason why I'm so fucking grouchy, motherfucker.
Yeah. Get a job, Grouch. The way he ties it in with real life, too. He's like, that's why rich people walk over homeless and go, get a job, Grouch. That shit is, I love the way he ties it up.
Funny because it's true.
Yes. When he says, it's because it's true. The way he talks, too, is great.
Because he has that, I realized it after, because I watched that Netflix, or is it Hulu or whatever, one of the thing. I have my, I took my father-in-law's Netflix account, so I get them confused. But
it's just, I think everyone's on one Netflix account. I think everyone's on one HBO account.
But there's when he's doing his own skits, that's on doing his own stand-up, and he starts describing a scenario of him talking to someone else. And someone says something and he's not really paying attention, he'll go, huh? But it's like the huh, saying huh is not funny, but it's the facial expression and the inflection in which he does it. Yeah. It's fucking hilarious because you can tell he wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, that's great. I love when you catch people off guard. Yeah. I like Martin Lawrence too. Martin Lawrence is funny too, that one. Fuck you.
Martin Lawrence is definitely funny.
Yeah. The one where I'm going out, girl. I'm fucking with the fucking dress. That shit is great, man.
That's old, Def Comedy Jam good.
Yeah, he's going way back. He's aged. He's dated yourself right there with that one.
Yeah. Have you seen
Martin Lawrence? Is he still even alive and shit? I remember last time I heard Martin Lawrence. He's fucking
he was in the
standing in the middle. Talking about he's going to see Gina and shit. I'm like, damn, this guy's fucking lost it.
Come on, baby, I got cheeseburgers. Help me out here. He was crazy.
Matter of fact, if you guys want a real laugh, look at Cat Williams when he talks about evolution.
Oh, God.
It's even though it's sad, it's hilarious.
Bullshit, it's still fucking funny though. Yes. And
he's like, what?
Oh yeah, go.
And then he says, if we came from monkeys, why the hell are there still goddamn monkeys around? I'm like, that is so hilarious, but that is so sad. He
got this shit from what's his face? He's doing his game show host now, Steve Harvey.
Yes.
He got this shit straight from Steve Harvey. Up there, another quake. Oh man, comedy is one of those things because I grew up listening to when I was old enough, I grew up listening to Richard Pryor, Dennis Leary, who else? Lewis Black. I love Lewis Black.
Yeah.
Damn it. Man, I was talking too. I didn't even know I got kicked off. Fucking some bitch.
It's funny. Every modern comic here, you can trace back to Richard Pryor. It's funny. Every single one of them. It doesn't matter who it is. They will.
Red Fox too. Red Fox.
Red Fox. Well, yeah. Red Fox. Red Fox is the only person who would stand laterally to Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
He's
then what? Then Eddie Murphy came on and he fucking blew it up. That was fucking
Yeah.
gooey
Oh yeah.
fucking goo-hoo. Yeah, that shit was great.
You remember that skit where he's where fuck it. That just goddamn, you just said his name. Fuck. Eddie Murphy. When Eddie Murphy is describing the conversation he had, this is Eddie Murphy Raw, where he describing the conversation that he had on the phone with Bill Cosby.
Yes.
Where he was doing the Richard Pryor skit. And like he was referencing his skit, and then he was imitating Richard Pryor, and so he talked about it, and then he called Richard Pryor to tell him about the conversation he had with Bill Cosby. And Richard Pryor goes, Did the people laugh? Yeah. Was you funny? Yeah. We'll tell Bill to have a Coke and a smile and shut the fuck up. It's so matter of fact. Like it's just like whatever. Like fuck him.
Shut the fuck up.
I don't know if you guys have ever seen any Bill Cosby stand-up stuff, but that's pretty funny
yeah, man.
too.
His original back in the day, the fucking chocolate cake.
And again, he doesn't curse at all in his shit. He's like, it's all clean stuff, but it's hilarious stuff.
Fuck yeah. His shit was amazing, man. He was great. He'd be sitting down on that chair in that packed fucking auditorium just dishing out funny shit about his family.
Yeah, he'd be the one. What is it about his father? Because he used to always talk about his father. He's like, my dad. Every time I was always getting in trouble, my dad used to be Jesus Christ, Jesus Christ. He said that for so many years. I actually thought my name was Jesus Christ. And he said, next thing I know, we was in the kitchen and he's like, Bill, and I'm doing my thing. He's like, Bill. He comes and slaps me. He's like, Bill, you didn't hear me call you? He said, no, my name is Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I thought my name was Jesus Christ. Yeah, that was great too. I love the chocolate cake one too, man. Daddy's great. Gives us chocolate cake, and he does the whole fucking dance and everything. He's like, flour, eggs, milk. This is a breakfast. Come on, eat some chocolate cake.
I like when Martin, when he said he invited Bill over and he fucking gave him Jello pudding, and the guy was like, "What the fuck are you giving me Jello pudding for?"
Oh, man, this is great, man. Dave Chappelle, the skits, man. The one where he does the what was this? Rick James, man.
When Charlie, he took the story from Charlie Murphy.
Charlie Murphy.
I'm like, man, he took that story, that real story, and then turned it into a damn skit. But that's like
ongoing too. He had like 5 episodes of that, and it was great too. Like I hit him, and he had my ring imprint right in his head. I go up to his ring.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Fuck your couch, yeah. Fuck your couch.
The best part is seeing Rick James's reaction to watching him tell that story.
I know, it's so great. I know, right?
You remember when he was like, I don't want to put my foot in this couch. And he said, I put my foot in this fucking couch.
It's Eddie Murphy. He can buy another one.
Yeah. They should have never gave you guys money, man.
Darkness. That's what you used to call Eddie Murphy. Darkness.
Yes, the Darkness brothers.
I'm just wondering. I'm like, how did Rick James not know that Charlie was Eddie's hood brother? Like, it's like, come on now. You just within 5 minutes of talking to Charlie Murphy, he wasn't that dude to fuck with. Like, well, I don't know about anyone else. That when I heard him speak, I'm like, you don't mess with this dude. But then,
dude, he's
Rick
built
James,
too, man. Fuck. Funny as fuck, man.
Imagine
being Eddie Murphy's fucking brother, man. Imagine that, man. Eddie Murphy bringing you to parties and shit, getting fucked up.
No, but whenever you go to parties with like celebrities and shit, the motherfuckers think they like God in there. Like whenever you go to a club, the motherfuckers think they like God. They can do anything to anity, and that's what get them usually shot up or fucked up, especially up here in the city. But
hey, look at Suge Knight, man. He got his ass dropped the fuck in that bar.
If Suge can get it, anybody can get it.
For real. Hey, did you see him when he got that sentence? When he was sentenced, man, he fucking broke down on his knees right there, chained up.
Yeah, I never understood. Like one time I was in court and I fucking had this. I had the guy plead out to like 5 years or something like that. And this guy sat down there. The judge is giving him 5 years, and he took it like a man. Like me, I'd have took that shit like a shot of alcohol. Like what the 5 years? Oh God!
Hey, let me tell you, man. I got what was it back in 2008? I got in trouble, and I got 7 years house arrest. No, 5 years house arrest, 7 years probation, and I lasted a month. And I go into sentencing. I think they're just going to put me back on probation, and my lawyer says I'm going back on probation. So I'm thinking I'm getting out. Judge goes, No, the lawyer comes over. He's like, yeah, the best I can do is 5 years. I'm like, whoa, wait a second, man. Like I started like, like what the fuck, my chest. And yeah, man, they gave that shit to me. I about fainted.
Yo, if let's say if I'm there and they giving me like triple life, at that point I'm beating up the lawyer, I'm fucking up the guards, I'm going after the judge. There ain't no reason, what are you gonna do? Give me an extra 10 years for my acting out of shit? I got triple life. There's no reason for me to do, fuck that.
I'm gonna find a pointy corner of something sharp, and I'm just gonna slam my fucking head in it right in front of them. It's getting dark now. Sorry, I brought it to a dark place. But yeah, it's no joke, man.
But hey, right now you're still in the house arrest, so watch what you say.
No, I'm good now. I did my time. I did 5 years.
That's good.
Damn it. You know what? And that's white privilege right there. He get 5 years in house arrest, so they told you stay at your house for 5 years.
No,
I go to jail.
Prison. No, I went to prison for 5 years. I was in.
Oh no, you broke your probation. And
I broke my probation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and they put me right back in. I was in for. Really, I did 4.
Damn, you left the house,
dude. I was in prison. I was in Florida. I was in CFRC, right there next to Cape Canaveral. Stuck in that motherfucker. It sucked. I was a plumber though. I had it. I got into gambling a lot. As soon as I started making money, it was sweet. It wasn't sweet, but the time flew by finally. First 9 months sucked.
It's almost sad because you put up with more shit in jail, but like if you get sent to Club Fed, like the guys in there have Xboxes, they have weed, they're ordering pizza, they're doing Facebook Live. You know how I know? Because they're on Facebook Live every night talking about
exactly, right? Yeah, no,
they have better shit in their cells than I have in my living room. I'm not even fucking with you.
Yeah. They had me at a training camp, so all the COs were being trained, so they were assholes.
Yeah, show that
usually people would go there and then go to another place, but no, they stuck my ass there. I was a good plumber, that's why I did all the plumbing.
Did someone do your plumbing?
No, I've cleaned up some pretty messed up messes though. Boy, let me tell you something. Pedophiles in there, they get dealt with right away.
That's good to hear.
It is really good. But they protect them in there though.
How do they find out? Like, how do other inmates find out what they did?
Usually they have a CO that they're friends with, or they'll just give the name to their family, and the family will look it up. That's how we all found out. Yeah, everyone finds out who everyone's, what everyone's doing in there, just to make sure everyone's in the right place.
I had over an ounce of weed. What did you do? I touched
Can you believe getting in trouble? Yeah, exactly. I had a good story, so I had a good. I only got in a couple of fights, but I had a good story to go. So I was always story time with what I did. So it was all right. People would be like, "Hey, man, we got a bank robber over here, man." Oh, what?
It's funny. That's kind of what everyone does in basic training too.
Yeah, it's the same thing. I was in Navy basic training. It's the same freaking thing.
Everyone tells their like what did you do? Like, what's the most fucked up shit you were doing while you were a civilian before you joined? Oh man, I used to be a drug dealer, or it's like just outlandish shit, like
Yeah, imagine back in the day when they were giving lighter sentences and you could go into the military instead of doing your time. Boy,
oh yeah,
that's when shit was crazy.
Why did they stop that? That sounds like a really good idea.
You think so? Because now it's all about money. They want to keep them in there, man. Make them do the roads. Make them do the make money for the private institute. It's a private institute now.
I do not see a downside to that idea at all.
But they don't. I don't think they end up making really good, service members, because you have to have a lot of integrity. So I'm thinking that they have.
That's up to your DA or your drill sergeant, right?
Well, how you turn out when you get to your unit is completely up to you. Like, you can be indoctrinated all day long, but if you are a kleptomaniac, you're just gonna, steal
you're
more.
Gonna steal shit. Yeah,
like it's gonna get more expensive, more dangerous.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Well, I got separated out. Shit, I even went to the brig and in the Navy too. That sucked. That was worse than jail. Fuck. Man, they cram you in there. There's like there's 100 people in a tiny room with all the bunk beds, and you are in there. They bring the food to you. You just sit there. It was like 2 weeks. All because my stupid ass fucking recruiter. I was all high on weed, and I told my recruiter, I'm like, I am going to piss dirty. No problem, man. He just wanted to get me through. I told him a million times, I'm going to piss dirty. No problem. Get through. I go to MEPS. I do all my shit, and then like I make it all the way through basic training. I'm doing my last mile run to see how good I've improved from the first mile run. And right before I'm about to run, they call me in, and they kick my ass out. So yeah, for real, I was in shape. I was doing great. That shit pissed me off. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is life, though. Life is crazy. Makes for good stories, though.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's people fuck up along the way.
Mm-hmm.
Some people bounce back. Some people, live on the internet and pretend that they can do stuff.
I got now I got a daughter, and my girl. Shit, we've been together for like 14 years. She stuck with me through all that 5 years. She stuck with me.
Damn, dude.
She's not black, because the black one would have left her ass. Them motherfuckers is out. As soon as the going get rough, they like, yo, you got to do time, but we ain't doing that time together. I got to live.
Not today.
Oh, fuck. MP, did you hear, like, since Trump took all, like, the Section 8 away, have you seen all the black men have been making those videos about what you gonna do now, girls? Dude, the YouTube is inundated with men talking shit to their women. You're gonna need us now.
Yeah, that whole back and forth thing is when I say back and forth, the whole we need to make a family. No, and strong independent women, like, back and forth is, I think it's hilarious because I don't have that kind of issue in my life. As sad as that is, but
yeah.
It's like, come the fuck on. Like, you're fucked up for your reasons, and you're fucked up for your reasons. Just let's not pretend like this is just like a unilateral fucking issue here.
Yeah, exactly.
My daughter doesn't want to go to sleep. How do you guys get a 1.5-year-old to sleep? Because she doesn't want to sleep at all.
Alcohol.
You got NyQuil?
I mean, just
yeah. I was gonna say, yeah.
Other than drugs.
Yeah. How did we get my son? Oh, is she still being breastfed?
Yeah, she's still being breastfed.
Titties, man. That's it. Like, that's the best way.
There we go.
Honestly,
that's why I started losing weight, because she tried to fucking suck on my fucking nipples one time. I'm like, damn, it's getting too fucking crazy already.
I didn't show you the picture.
You ain't gonna get no milk out of that, motherfucker.
I didn't show. I have a picture on Facebook where my son's trying. Like, he was just born, like, fresh out the fucking womb, and I was holding him, and he's trying his hardest. Like, you see his mouth contorting because he can barely see a nipple. But I was in shape, though. That was the bad part. Like, I just fresh out of AIT, fresh out.
Give me a
my daughter actually had to think about it. Like she saw me laying on the bed with the shirt off. She looked at my wife, looked at me, looked at my chest, and was just, next thing I know, I fucking see her head like headbutting my fucking heart. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
She chose you.
She chose you. Next thing I know, she's looking like a little fucking chicken, dancing her head fucking off my chest. I'm like, babe, you gotta relax. There's no milk in this motherfucker.
Hey, you can wear one of those bras that have milk in them. Guys have that, so they're not called bras. Breastfeeding.
They're called they're called man's ears or bros.
Or bros, yeah. But the ones with the milk.
The fact that you know what they are, what they're called, just that fact alone, sir.
I used to use Pink Floyd. I'd put my daughter on my chest and then play some Pink Floyd in the background. She'd go to sleep usually.
I'm trying to think. After we weaned him, shit, what did we do? Because he was a big fucker. Well, he still is technically, but honestly,
vibrating anything works too.
No, I would.
Vacuum cleaner.
No, they're scared to death. Well, mine was scared to death.
Car, yeah. If it was really bad, you'd take her in the car.
That's what we did. I remember now. No, it wasn't car. This is when I was still in the military, and everything's going back to the military for this hangout, not education. But I would work out 3 times a day, no shit. Morning PT. My part of my lunch would be work out in the gym, and then after I came home, we had a jogging stroller. And so, maybe an hour or 2 before his bedtime, we would whip out the jogging stroller and go like all the way around the base. Well, not all the way, halfway around the fucking base, back up the hill, back to our residence, and like
Yeah,
he
you're
knocked
right.
the fuck out, like knocked
Yeah.
out. You'd be done.
Oh, I just remembered too, the dryer. Put her on the dryer and turn that on. Put some stuff in it to make a little vibration in there to go like sleep right away.
Oh, I am so happy you said on top of the dryer.
Yeah, right.
Just throw them in there.
See,
Just
what
put
you
it on
want to
low
do is
heat.
put her in a pillowcase, tie the
Low-
pillowcase up, and throw her in there.
You know what?
Make
That
sure you
makes
put a
sense.
softening pad in there though.
That does make sense because she's probably going to be upset, but there was a vibrating tool on the bed, and the next thing I know, the baby was just like out, and I'm like, why the fuck is she out? And they're like, oh, this shit was on.
Yeah, you can just put that underneath it, like underneath your mattress.
That's so fucked up. But then you tell them that when they're late. It's like, you know how we put you to sleep when you were a baby? Yeah, we had this thing that we turned on. And it was in the vicinity, and it just kind of
we had
shook.
sore muscles. We had really sore muscles around the house. We always had to have one around.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was a TINS unit. Yeah, it was a TINS unit.
Stick a TINS unit to her. Yeah. So I think she won't go to sleep then. But yeah, no, the dryer thing works really well.
Yeah, get them to sleep while they're younger. Not too difficult, but it's a 6-year-old. He's getting him to sleep sometimes is a chore. But it depends. I know we can go for a drive, and like I have pictures of him knock the fuck out and during a drive. Like that is always like the go-to. Rare occasions I have the recliner now that I can whip out, and I can rock him a little bit and lean back, and then he'll fall asleep on me. But he really didn't take to that until he was like 3 or 4, maybe 5. Actually, not even 5 yet, 3 or 4. That really worked, and now it's just car rides really do it. For those of you with kids, take note. This is valuable information.
Oh, and I know how to make any baby stop crying, like infant baby. When I found the secret out, I was like, oh, it works every time.
It's like change a diaper or something like that.
Yeah, no. Once you do all that and they keep crying, like it's the most amazing trick. You put your hand underneath her. Actually, just on YouTube.
Look up YouTube. That holds them not upside down, but
yes, and then crosses the arms,
yeah,
and then shakes her butt. Every time, bam, right away. Like I've done it for a friend before, and they were going crazy, and I did it, and they were like amazed. It works. It's crazy.
That's what I hear. I hear people like, yeah, it's just Google, or YouTube, how to make a baby stop crying, and you'll see
the first one. Yeah.
It looks like a first aid technique. Well, actually, it is for infants. It is actually like a part of the first aid technique that you're supposed to use. And if for some reason, like I don't know what it is, but it just makes them stop crying
right away. No matter what, they're not crying anymore. It's money too. You can give that. If only YouTube wasn't around, we can make money off of it. Now everything's right at our fingertips.
MP, you should try that with yours. I think she's still young enough. Mine's just gonna get pissed off.
Well, yeah, right. What are you doing? Stop touching my butt.
Stop. Seriously, stop. Seriously, Daddy. I need this open. Seriously. Everything is fucking serious. I was like, we need to use some more words.
Yeah.
Some more, definitely.
And when they get older, now she's so defiant. And she's 11 years old, and she's like the queen of the neighborhood for real. She gets home, bam, she's outside.
Have fun with that.
Boys, girls, I know, right?
She has her own clique.
Yeah, she totally does too, and she's ahead of it too. It's even at school. I talked to the teacher, and the teacher is like, "Your daughter is awesome. Like she has a way of getting everyone's attention and getting people on task." And that was cool though. Yeah. Pretty much let her do what she wants now, because as long as you keep getting the grades you're getting, you're gonna have freedom. You just have to do your certain chores and stuff, but you can do what you want because you've earned it. I go, as soon as those grades dip down though, ooh.
Yeah, I had a friend. I can't say a friend. There was this girl that lived down the fucking street from my cousin, and she liked. Well, it's us 3 cousins. My cousin Kelvin lived across the street from Jerome, and then I lived literally around the corner from all of them. So it's us 3 cousins, like living within 150 yards of one another. And there's a girl that lived down the street from Kelvin and Jerome, and she was an odd one. She would try to like karate chop us. And like, I don't ask me why. I still like to this day, because I met her on Facebook after like 10 years, and I'm like, aren't you that girl that lived down the street that would always try to karate chop us? She's like, yeah. But her parents like would let her cuss and all kinds of which during that time was amazing. Like, your parents let you cuss? Oh man. But she got really good grades. It says, yeah, you can say what the fuck you want. You make good grades. So that was the stipulation behind that. My mom was like, you cuss, I'm gonna fucking fuck you up. That's just her.
I said, yeah. I was in the grocery store when I was, oh geez, I had to have been like 7 or something, and I don't know why, but I told my mom to shut up. And my dad, yeah, I know. I like woke up in the car. I didn't know what happened from there to the car. I was just in the car all of a sudden, like with my head hurting. I'm like, my dad fucking backhanded the fuck out of me. Like, oh, I guess I can't say that anymore.
Caught the backhand of Emperor Palpatine there.
Yeah, I got the wrath of the nunchuck on there.
Jeez, we were supposed to be talking about like GMO sexuality shit. We're talking about kids and grown up.
I know, it's good.
It's still more interesting.
I can't read the comment room, so are they still there? So. The comment section.
Oh yeah.
How many people are watching?
That's 27. Yeah, Mo, Mrs. Dragnot's not too like she had a conversation with G-Man, and it turned out exactly like you imagined it would.
When was that? Today?
Yeah, today. Like right after I was like, I'm going in on these dudes. I'm like, whatever. No, we're going to do Journal Club. He called right after that, and I let her talk to him because I'm like, I already knew what he was going to fucking say. But she's taking a break because it's a little bit too much drama for her. So, she's going to take a break from it all. And I'm like, I don't care, dear, but she doesn't appreciate like her. She was more upset that she was scolding me and telling me that I was being condescending and I should have went in that hangout with, more respect, and then have G-Man turn around and make like certain comments and shit about me after the fact. Like, she didn't appreciate that. So
yeah, you preemptive. You went on a preemptive strike, huh?
Yeah, I was like, I didn't care because I already knew it didn't matter what I was going to say. He was already convinced of this crazy shit. So, he's gonna perpetuate crazy shit. Like, it's not like he's researched this stuff. Like, fuck no, come on now.
Is there ever a point where we just stop trying, or it's fun?
The only reason, like, I'll be legit, like, because I said I talked to a lot of people. Some people have my phone number, MP, and some people, hit me up on Facebook and on Google Plus. And they ask me like, why do you, what are you getting out of this? I'm just curious. Why do you even engage these folks? You're beyond them, and it's like, well, I guess in a way I am beyond them, but I don't like to really think of myself like that, believe it or not. Like, I put on my pants one leg at a time as everybody else, but
yeah,
I don't get anything out of these conversations. Like, it's not like during Journal Club, there's shit that I can actually learn. Like, well, even in this hangout, people have learned what the gene is that's been transfected into organisms to make them resist like freezing. Like, people have actually learned something from this hangout, if not a lot of stuff, but it's more.
G-Man, you're going to get a teaching on psychology, and that can help out. I mean, your arguing skills will get improved, and just the sheer fact that you can call out when someone is lying or being disingenuous without anyone having to give you hints that they're doing that, that's a good thing. That definitely goes in life, because when you talk to so many people that are disingenuous and liars, pathological, whatever, you start pinpointing it in real life. You're like, you can almost see it in the eyes. You can see it definitely in the mannerisms and the way someone talks. So it's good to get training on that here and there.
Well, I've used it today, actually. Now that you mentioned that, it's actually good timing. I went to the Political Science Student Association. Now I'm talking about my school again. The Political Science School Association club thing, whatever, today. And we were talking about the Colin Kaepernick and whatever, the shit that's been happening no one talks about anymore. So I was able to utilize a little bit of my debating skills in there, even though I really wasn't talking that much. So it has helped me in real life. I think that one of the I challenged a particular view someone had. I don't think that she liked that because I told her what she was saying was fucking anecdotal, and it was. But and it's it's helpful, but I guess in the moment it is helpful that I can recall stuff from like general chemistry 1. I can recall stuff from basic physics. I can recall stuff that I hadn't been using in a while in these conversations, because if anyone goes and listens to that GMO or gross whatever discussion we had last night, like he's all over the fucking place. Like I didn't even have a chance to defer to the stuff that I brought up in my browser here, and all we had to do is talk about the YouTube videos that he took 2 seconds to find and how he thinks this is evidence of something. And so I have 2 arms tied behind my back where I can't use any sources that I have. I have to respond on the fly to stuff that he took 2 seconds to look up and know anything about. And I have to repel misinformation, misunderstandings of science, as well as my own positions, with like, it's a clusterfuck. So it's a decent
something
exercise.
that he couldn't do. Yes, and the fact that you have all this knowledge in your head, or anyone going into an argument, they have all this technical knowledge of cells or whatever you're talking about, and then on top of that, know how to be able to inject it into a conversation or counter someone else. That's vital. That's just the way we all communicate, pretty much. Some people just aren't very good at it. Like I wasn't good at it. I was just good at talking shit back in the day, and I'm still not good at it. But I'm more comfortable now.
That takes practice. That takes a lot of practice. I mean, it's an exercise in trying to spot. Maybe you could say, well, it's exercise in spotting fallacies, because he definitely, did a fucking, the argument from ignorance when he was mentioning, well, we might not know what we find later in science. We'll never know, and it could disprove this. And I was like, no, let's not do that fucking argument from ignorance. Let's not. Let's keep it right here in the present. But yeah, like it's helpful for that. But the fact of the matter is that for some of the stuff, you do need a baseline understanding first of the subject before you engage and even take a position. Because let's say, I just give you an example. Carrie hadn't said anything for a while, so I'm gonna mess with Carrie. So if Carrie and I are talking about, let's say, systems of ethics, if we're trying to figure out what is moral, Carrie, would it be helpful in understanding like the 3 branches of ethics before we have that conversation?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Oh, that's actually an interesting position you have there. Let's actually talk about that. But for instance, like, let's say if we're talking to somebody who's staunchly a Christian and they defer to, let's say, divine command theory, and I'm being very specific, right? So I can relate it back to the 3 branches. I think deontological, what are the other 2? I just mentioned it and forgot it.
The proofs for God?
Well, no, just like the three branches of ethics. One's deontological, and one's rationalist. I got the internet here. Let me just look it up. I'm sitting on my bed. I forgot it.
Well, one of them is about how you use it, but the ethics of whether or not they're practical or something. Pragmatism of some sort.
Oh, I guess I just said 3 normative ethics. And see, this actually goes back to my point. It's like understanding like the basics of this stuff is helpful. Oh, virtue ethics, that's one of them. Deontological and consequentialism.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So if we're talking about someone who subscribes to divine command theory, they may be a virtue ethicist. I'm just throwing that out there. And so understanding the 3 is definitely going to help when we're trying to like parse out each other's arguments. But I don't know. Maybe that was a bad example.
But there is some education that goes on too, because like a lot of times I'll get into a conversation to learn stuff too.
Yeah. Like if you had come into the conversation with that, I probably wouldn't have cared about the label. I would have tried to describe you a moral system.
Right.
So at one point, it would have been helpful for you to know what those labels were, so that you could then match up the system I'm describing. Because if I'm working with more of a hands-on analysis of how my ethics work, you can contribute to that by telling me what the hell I'm talking about in a label I may not have heard of yet, but the concept I know of. Just I don't know what the proper label to use to help convey the idea quickly to someone else's.
So, and to that effect, the label's not important. Just referring to the concepts that we're referring to is what we're getting at. So, if let me rephrase what I'm saying. If you understand the concepts in normative ethics and you can somewhat communicate that to someone else to talk about morality, it's helpful to understand how to communicate that within the realm of I think philosophy. And so I think that it helps facilitate, the conversation between two people who may disagree. And I don't see G-Man doing that, or a lot of these guys doing that in any capacity, because I think what was the example he gave me is that, well, I know that if I put my finger in an electrical socket, it'll electrocute me and I'll die, but I'm not an electrician. That was the example he gave me. So
it's very interesting because a lot of people get electrocuted and don't die. So I'm kind of curious why he has this morbid fascination that's what's going to happen. I mean, it's incredibly dangerous, but it's not like a guarantee as he seems to profess.
But understanding that, we could roll with that. Well, why do you die? I understand that our bodies make pretty good conductors because we're like 60% water. So
a lot of salt and conductive agents, but the problem happens not necessarily that you are electrocuted, it's where. If the path of least resistance for the electricity is through your heart, game over.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I was an apprentice for an electrician, an AC actually installer, and he was up there. It was like 450, but the voltage, the amp was like 40, and he put his screwdriver in there and touched the side on accident, and his toe blew off. Like his toe, it didn't blow off, but it split and shot blood everywhere, like through his friggin' shoe too. It was insane. It was crazy.
Yeah, because the current is trying to find the quickest way to the ground to be grounded.
Yeah.
So,
and his stankin' ass toe was the fucking place to go. That thing, it was crazy. But yeah, electricity's no joke. But just the fact that he would know how to decipher how you died. I see what you're going with that, though. Yeah, he just says you just die. Yeah, you die, but would you know how we die or why we die, or did the amperage kill you, or you don't know the potatoes of why.
It's also extremely important because it's someone who has received an electric shock is going to do several things, and if one of them is go rigid and fall to the ground, then it's coursed through a large portion of their body, and it's possible to restart their heart if it's seized. But you have to be extremely quick, and you have to be able to recognize what's going on. Mm-hmm. So being educated on the subject is fine, but it's not a guaranteed death sentence. It's the first step of first aid. Figure out how to get them to the heart again.
This is why this is why I believe knowledge is power.
Mm-hmm. Of course, not definitely knowledge is power. But I would say this. I would say true empiricism and G-Man and people on that side, their biggest issue is that they think they're experts and aren't smart enough to know that they're not experts in the field. And that's
certainly not Socrates. Yeah, they're certainly not Socrates.
like even that little video today with the whole drag thing. He was I've only been wrong twice, but everybody else is wrong like 40 times. Wow. He's living in such a bubble that he thinks that he understands this thing at a true level, but he doesn't. He really doesn't. And until he tries to actually humble himself and say, let me go ask, let me go try to really research this and have a good understanding of it, then he'll always be ignorant. It'll just be, we'll be talking about him forever because he'll never improve.
It's willful ignorance. Maybe willful, maybe he doesn't see it. I don't know.
For instance, one time I was playing chess in Central Park, and they have a chess house. So I was playing. But at that point, as a black guy from Harlem, a Russian guy comes with his whole family, and he sees me playing, and he's telling me he's self-taught, he's this, he's really good. He beats his kids all the time. So I'm like, sure, you're gonna play. So he says, if you beat me, I'll buy lunch for everybody at the table. So there's 20 of us there. So I'm like, cool. So I kicked this guy's ass. Then he's like, let's play again, and if you win again, I'll give you $200. So I'm like, sure. The next game was like a 3-4 moves, boom, 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 game over. So he was like, boy, you're like the best chess player in the world. I said, no. I said, you just don't know how to play. You've been playing these kids and yourself, but you can't improve because you're living in a bubble. You're playing just a couple of people. If you were to play people who have a little better strength, then maybe you'd improve. But right now, it's like you're the best pig at a pig farm. You know, what does that mean?
Means nothing. Like it's, and that's why I laugh when Ronnie and some of these other guys think that, well, there's some type of challenge to me or Sam or to hell anybody else who is actually actively looking for knowledge and looking for improvement. And it's like, no. Like, I even gave him an example of somebody who I would compare myself to, and I would say, you know what, I would try to be this guy's rival because I could acknowledge he's better than me in so many things, but he would probably say, you know what, you are my equal. But if I look at him, who's someone who may be my equal or better, and challenge myself to that standard, I can only improve.
But you know,
exactly.
Yeah, but what bothers me is that when some people try to put you in a box, like try to only get you to do one thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you want to learn a bunch of stuff, but they say no, you should only do one thing and stick with it. I'm like, well, mind your own business.
Yeah, but that's because human beings are specialized. We're specialists. You know, everybody kind of, and that's kind of the way we're trained from children. You know, you find something you like, be a doctor, and if you're a doctor, what type of doctor? So
And that's okay.
We're
They can be
we're
whatever
trained
they
to be
want.
very specialized.
Just don't put it on me.
Yeah, not necessarily everybody has to adhere to it, but generally that's what happens. You know, people get you get a field, you get a nuance in that field, and you specialize in that one piece of it and try to know everything about it. So,
yeah, if you're gonna work at Popeyes and be the best chicken fryer there is, then there's nothing wrong with that. You know.
That's right.
I can fry a chicken like no one's business. You know, I could batter it. You want size of that?
Tony.
I got you.
No, it's funny. I guess he got upset by us speculating that he works at Popeyes. But he missed the entire half hour of me talking about that. I used to work at Smoothie King of all places, and that actually,
do you want some protein with that? You want some?
You know how my big ass, I wasn't this fat, but my big ass back there with everyone else at 5'11" and under, and I'm like, there's not a lot of space back there. I hated it. But that Smoothie King no longer exists, and I know I never put it on my resume because it's worthless. But yeah, I spent the next half hour talking about people in food service need respect, people who work retail need respect, and then I talked about my experiences in retail and why I give people respect. He missed that entire spiel, but he latched on to that one thing, and I'm like, it's sad because my mother-in-law, who did 22 years in the Army, it's sad. My mother-in-law used to work at KFC, frying the fucking chicken. My instructor, well, by the way, she's retired from the military after doing 22 years as a sergeant first class. My instructor, Dr. Hostin, my federal government class, he used to work at KFC. I know he used to work at Popeyes, and I think he said he prepared the chicken. And he has a doctorate degree right now teaching my class. It's nothing dishonorable about doing it. But he improved himself. He went on to do different things. But I don't see that from these guys. They're stuck with whatever, shitty position they're in life, and they're not going to move anywhere. So they're upset because I am. I'm sorry, I am.
And it's no one else's fault but theirs. I mean, because no one's saying they have to do what they're doing. They have to stay where they're staying, or they have to just focus on fundamentalism.
I disagree.
That part of religion,
I think that these guys I don't think they can do anything else. I've spoken about this to a few people offline, actually recently, that I don't really think that they could get better positions or go up the ladder, so to speak, because that requires a certain set of skills that they don't have.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. Their mental is definitely. I guess I was just generalizing, but yeah, they are special though. When it comes to snowflakes, they are snowflakes in that category. There's no one. They're all special. They just melt away.
And just to so that I'm not just oh god, hey, what's going on, Bob? Oh shit, Bob Robot came back. Okay, he was getting his stuff together. And I say that based on I've been promoted in the military, I've been promoted in the civilian world, I've been promoted to positions and I guess academia, and I see that there's a different skill set for each area and for each like realm within those areas. And so there's a certain core set of skills you need to have in any position, in any job, in order to excel. One of those is being able to have really good interpersonal relationships and understand where people are coming from and be able to communicate points. None of these guys can really do that, especially when it comes to evaluating their own skills and the skills of others. And that's why we make the joke about Dunning-Kruger, because it's so lopsided that it makes it almost comical.
They remind me of, going through basic training, you had those guys that, and right before you're going in MEPS, they'd all be talking shit. Man, if a sergeant comes to me or anyone talks to me out of place or something like that, I'm not going to let them talk to me like that. They're the first ones to pay. Yeah. That sergeant gets in their face or whatever.
Oh, working fast food. My cousin, she started out of high school at Taco Bell, and 15 years later, she's still at Taco Bell, but she's in the office now, making $48,000 a year, right? She gets to bring her daughter. She gets to bring her daughter to work with her in the office, so she gets to watch her kid all day. She don't have babysitters and stuff, and she's got full benefits. And she started out behind the counter.
But I think one principle we're all missing. These are not who these people are. If you work in McDonald's, if you work with, that's not who you are. That's what you do. There's a difference between somebody what you do and who you are, and that's the part that I think is being missed here.
That's true. It's just sad too. That's why I brought up that is it worth even trying still? But then, yeah, it's worth it just for us to keep trying just to better ourselves and our argument skills and stuff like that.
At the end of the day, would you be happy knowing an opportunity passed where you didn't try?
Yeah, exactly.
Come on, I thought about it. It's keep trying. Why is everyone, why don't you just ignore these people, right? Because all G-Man wants is a drama. He don't really care about anything, but like I mentioned earlier, the Black Hebrew Israelite thing, everyone praises him for that, but he won't do that because nobody can just say, oh, you're doing a good job, G-Man, and move on, right? But when you mention stuff about GMOs, well, hell, now we got 5 days worth of videos talking about them, right? That's what they want, and But it's not really. I always thought it's like, why don't we just and move on, and then look at it. Since Nadia left and MK left, there's it gets kind of boring driving down the road. There's nobody's got hangouts going. Everyone needs a drama. Everyone wants that drama. They want to have that fun and excitement and something to blow off the steam that they have from their family and life.
Sorry to interrupt you, but Lyrics, Mark, and other people have been doing hangouts lately. They're just never around. Once in a while, you know what I mean? They do it once in a while.
Yeah, Brojo does it once in a while, but
I know. I remember like Tom had and remember Debate Coliseum. It's like, what happened to all these people?
They died.
Well, a lot of them went to Discord.
What time of day were these hangouts being done? Because I noticed
24/7.
Oh,
it was
okay.
24/7.
There was always a hangout. All right.
Yeah. Especially when MK was around.
And he would have like a maximum of 4 people in there, and then he'd have 2 of them talk, and then he didn't want the third person to talk.
Yeah, Christian hangouts, like in the beginning they were fine, but then as time went on, he did Christian topics only, and then it got to a point where some people were, oh my god, MK.
Look,
I like when he threw Didi out though. That episode he had to throw Didi out. That was hilarious.
Somebody sent me a message and told me, I'm like, you fucking lying, don't fuck with me. And somebody said, no, dude, really, go look. And I was like, sure enough, he grew a spine. He removed Didi's dick from his mouth and he kicked him out. And I was like, wow, he grew up.
Well,
yeah. Too bad he didn't leave those videos.
My whole view on MK is if you notice, the only time he was around was summer vacation. He's a college kid. He's probably taking a psychology class, and he's writing papers on all of us. And he's using these things. That's why when he first started, he was an atheist because of PETA. He hated the way God treated animals, right? But the next year, it was this total
what?
Global
skepticism.
Oh, wait, then he moved from global skepticism into conspiracy theory. Every year it's something different.
Yeah, Bob has this whole conspiracy theory of MK. You know, the MK just acts crazy to see our people's reaction, and he has a little notebook that he has on the side or something.
Well,
That's why he's always
it's
quiet.
it's founded a bit in fact, because there is someone who, well, not recently, but someone who's been in the community for a while, who was active, who actually made a response video to true empiricism, and he's doing his PhD thesis on some of the people in the community.
Cool.
A few people know who this is. Well, it is, but he was going over. Let me make sure I get this right. Why people reject certain well-founded views like evolution, and why they, it pretty much like cognitive dissonance. Like he's doing it like a study and using members of like the CCP and basically, like, I hate to say it, like using the CCP for a case study to get his PhD.
Write what you know. First rule of authorship, right?
I mean, but it's amazing because I wanted, well, true empiricism, you should feel proud. You're helping someone get their education. You didn't even know it. like, dude, he has no clue. And that's the funny part. Like, a few people know who I'm talking about, and he true has no idea that he is being, like, I guess, profiled and helping this guy complete his study. Like, it's so funny.
What's that saying that nobody is a failure because you can always be an object lesson for somebody of what not to do?
Yeah.
So
Right.
God gives everybody a purpose.
If this is true about MK, though, he is like the ultimate troll. He's like the troll of the century. Because his whole thing is just trolling us.
I think you guys, okay, maybe maybe you guys are giving him too much credit. Maybe it's true. I don't know what to believe right now. I do know that I remember having discussions with him. Oh my God, I was getting so frustrated.
I mean, he believes some funky shit, but there's weirder stuff that's happened. I don't know how many of you were around for Dramagate.
I don't think I was around. I popped in around June. It was 2 weeks after the first King Crocodile Kent Hovind debate.
Oh, dude, this was years ago. This was many years ago. This is before I was actually active. So yeah, it's been a while. And some of the old heads, please kick me if I get this wrong. Live
You're
Life.
the host.
Yeah, Live Life and a few of his cohorts and a few other YouTubers got together and they fabricated a beef, like a internet beef, like True Empiricism or some of these guys. And they did it just to show that people thrive more on drama than they do like actual material, like actual like substantive material.
Cool.
And they're right.
And it's true. They were right. But people were pissed. People were pissed that they had been fooled. With Kate and Dark Man of 25, thank you. So Sabella remembers that. Yeah. So and it was all fabricated, but it was just to prove a point, and people completely like I get what they were doing. Like it was underhanded, but I got the point of it. But ask Blue about it. he still remembers that, and he still gets pissed. Well, I mean, Blue gets pissed all the time, but ask him about it, and he didn't appreciate that very much.
Blue who?
Blue is Blue. Blue as Blue. The banjo playing Blue.
I don't know.
If you never seen, okay, don't worry about him then. Yeah, but he remembers it, and Sabella remembers it. A few others remember it. It was bad. Like the blowback from that was terrible, but funny.
Well, I mean, I don't blame them for being pissed. They got lied to, or
played.
Played. Yeah, there you go. Thank you. They got played. Nobody likes being played.
I mean, hey, and but it's true. Like, it is absolutely true. But you know what? People watch YouTube for their own reasons. So if they just want to watch for drama, then they want to watch for drama.
I always think it's interesting how people found the great debate community.
Yeah. I used to ask people how they found me. That was always an interesting story.
I found the great debate, and you guys from I was looking up First, I watched DP, Drunken Peasants. That led me to Brett Keane and Vaughn. Then I went to the dude that always roasts Vaughn. Dude with the South Park avatar, Secular Opinion. And then it jumped to some DD stuff. And then, no, actually the beginning was Atheist Experience. And then it progressed, like I said. And then I bumped into you guys, then the Great Debate Community. Well, Steve, and then, no, you dragged you first. Remember, you brought me on to Steve's the first time.
I did.
Yes, you did. Yep. Yeah, I messaged you 2 days before I started going live, and I said, I think I'm gonna try and start going live. And then, you hooked me up with everything, told me how to do it, and which I thank you for now. So you brought me into the Great Debate Community. But it led that way.
Or I'm sorry, whichever.
Yeah, right. But when it comes to some of those philosophy and math debates, thanks a lot. But otherwise, that was good.
You can learn a lot. Like back when there were this thing that we do here had its heyday. You could learn so much, in a conversation, listening to folks who genuinely wanted to talk about the topic. This is back when Arcane would come in to a hangout, and Arcane would be going at it with Hogtie, and then Hogtie would bring in like Stock Account and Xbox Fiend, and then Matt Bell would come in, and like you had people who were like going at it, and you could definitely you people will be Googling shit in the side, like trying to figure out what was going on as the side chat was ablaze. And
many times I've Googled your guys' conversation, so I'd be like, whoa, what the hell does that mean?
Now we kind of have these conversations, but it's so watered down now because no one really wants to engage. But there was a time where True Empiricism actually grew some balls, and he would come in a hangout. But I think what happened is that as people became more and more scientifically literate, he couldn't pull the same stuff that he could normally pull on like a general population of atheists, because it was like him, Brett Keane, and a few others, and like Nephilim Free, they had a spiel. They really didn't have positions.
Yes.
And
I was just going to say Brett Keane. Yep, exactly.
Yeah, and Brett Keane is the king of the gotcha questions, and he used to get me.
And the victim.
Yeah. Oh God, perpetual. Darn my situation.
All of them, I think. Yeah, my situation.
Yeah. But he got me a few times with the gotcha questions, and this, because you get pissed off. It's like, dude, no, I'm not trying to backtrack. I'm trying to clarify my fucking statement. That was never my position, and he would equivocate in the middle of what you were fucking saying and go, oh, see, now you're being inconsistent, and then it just makes you look bad. And so, the only real remedy, he was good at it. I'll give him that. I mean, he was a snake, and he knew it was dishonest, but he would do it anyway.
He didn't want you to go any further. He didn't want you to go further. After he got his gotcha question out, if you were to try and break past that, he would snap on you, and like he would, oh, you're fucking. Then he would start doing the shit and kicking you out of the room or whatever it is.
Yeah, I'll see the atheist. He was just going to say this and that, and he was just going to disrupt. So I just removed him. Yeah. So the same fucking song and dance.
Terrible, and they'll go after your mom. You know those ab hominoids fallacies are ridiculous. You got your man straw fallacy. It's ridiculous.
Your mac and cheese.
You know what? I think what happened with all this is just that they couldn't develop new arguments. Like science has changed. Like we've learned more over the past 10 years, 5 years. We've evolved, but even in our knowledge of the world, and I think their arguments have been stuck in the past. Like when somebody says they have a new argument for God, we treat them like a new prostitute on the strip. Like everybody's after them. Let me hear this argument. Let me hear let me hear something new. But right now, it's just we've just been hearing, I think, the same old thing, and some of those things have been refuted by stuff that we've just learned. So
that's that new prostitute on the street. Not many people will get that, but
it's true. But here's I don't know how many of you guys remember. Was it Antonio Aguilar? I think his name was. I want to say that's his. It was a Latino guy, and he was a former Marine. He was going to seminary school, and
really,
I think his name's Antonio Aguilar. I want to say that's his name. And there was a whole hoo-ha because it was quite clear that he really didn't understand the philosophy side of theology well enough to have these conversations. So JD Kane would bring him into a fucking hangout and beat the dog shit out of him. Sock account would, call him into a hangout, and of course he would go come a running and beat the shit out of this dude. And so people got upset because it's like, y'all know this dude doesn't have the tool set to understand what y'all are saying. And so I think there was a Talking Shit Tuesday episode where people were like bringing it up, like, come on guys, like, what are y'all doing? And because I dealt with it, like I participated in it too. I'm not even gonna lie, but he was like, this dude was so up everyone's ass about how no one else understood philosophy, no one else understood theology, only he understood it, and it was prime proof for the picking. Yeah, he was incredibly arrogant, like rare,
how could you be
bad.
that? Think that you're the best? I mean,
well,
there's always someone on top of the mountain that'll kick you down.
It culminated into this dude bringing his professor to Google Plus to debate Ozzy.
Oh my God.
For those of you who have not seen this, it's fucking hilarious.
Can you
because this professor is using circular arguments one after another, and Ozzy's pointing them out and knocking them out the fucking park every single time. Like Ozzy would explain why it's circular, and then he could, calmly, gently continue on the conversation, trying to move on the point, and then he would make another circular fucking argument. Like he would go right back to it.
This is an actual professor at a university.
Yes,
I'm frightened now because if he's a professor, then that's what the fuck is it?
This is the dude that was teaching and like he kept deferring, say, this guy, you bring up your best atheist, my professor, and this dude got the fucking
education sucks.
Is that still out there somewhere?
It's I saw it recently. It may be on Ozzy's channel. I have to find it, but
yeah, please do.
Link it when you find it.
Yeah, let me go look real quick while I tell you. But I may be misremembering certain parts, but it was bad. Like this dude.
I want to watch it.
Like it's if you were curious about the quality of education at this fucking place.
Yeah, right.
Wait. Did Ozzy? God damn it! Is Ozzy self-taught or did he go to school for it too?
No, Ozzy has education. He has, I believe, master's level education. He was going for his PhD, but he decided not to and become a wild man. So yeah. No, he has his personal reasons why he did not pursue his PhD. That it'd honestly be better just to ask him as the reasons, because I don't think that I could do justice.
Hey, Drag, everyone, have you noticed how the CCP? Okay, you got your Vaughn, Keen, G-Man, all them. How they it's weird how they have found each other, right?
Yeah,
and they're all the same mind. It's weird, almost like. They all are liars. They're all duplicitous, and they all found each other. It's almost romantic.
Well,
they tear each other up too. Yeah, and then they tear each other up. I mean, they'll get in. G-Man and Brett King.
Well, we'll tear each other up too. Come on.
Yeah, we do, but we don't make a video going, "Oh man, G-Man, I'm off air now because G-Man's a chocolate atheist. That's terrible." Or Shani, we're supposed to be virgins dressed in white, or whatever she said. It's like, yeah, they take it to the extreme.
But the difference is we correct each other and accept it and move on. These guys, just attack each other.
It's a way to dig in. Yeah. They're like, ooh, I found a flaw in another human. Let's break them down. And then they'll build them back up just to break them back down again. And
like a pack of rabid dogs finding the weakness in a victim.
Yeah, and it's usually the same bullshit that they get in an argument every time. Like every 4-5 months, Brett will get in an argument with someone. Vaughn will jump off the fucking internet. He just did that again. He just erased all his accounts because he said, I'm doing it preemptive because I'm not going to give YouTube the satisfaction of erasing my account. I'm like, they don't have a satisfaction. They have a list of people they got to erase that day, and they press a fucking button. There's no satisfaction for them. They don't give a shit. Devon, it's like a whole fucking military thing. They're attacking me.
Oh God, Vaughn. There's something not wrong with that man. There's something not right with that man. Excuse me.
For real. And the fact that he does all these lies, everything he's done, but he's been on YouTube since the beginning.
I legitimately think that he's mentally ill. Like, there's no way that
Oh,
he's not mentally ill.
100%. There's no, no, he's definitely Munchausen by proxy. He is a narcissist. He's got all the, and I'm okay with judging him. I don't give a fuck. Some people are like, oh, I don't want to judge people. No, I'm gonna judge his ass. He is fucking crazy. He's a lunatic. And
Shit,
What's this lunatic guy's name? So I can stay away from this guy?
Von Helton.
No,
I've never showed you Von Helton.
Oh, Von Helton. Yeah, I know Von Helton.
Yeah,
Pretty bad,
I have a guilty pleasure.
I never met it. I never been exposed.
No, I just came back on the whole. I heard how bad this guy was. I was like, yeah, that's Von Helton. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a funny video. By the way, folks, if somebody knows where that video of Ozzy talking to that guy's professor is, I have no idea. It's not on Ozzy's channel. Somebody else hosted it, invited that guy and Ozzy, and I can't remember if it was Xbox Fiend, if it was JD Kane. I don't remember who was hosting it, but it's on their channel, whoever hosted it. But yeah, there's a video of Von Helton in a group with folks. Ermine's in there, and she's talking to Von very calmly, very nicely. And she goes, Vaughn, there's stuff on the internet about you. There's this website. Yeah, it's all lies. I know what you're talking about. They say all kind of crazy stuff. All of it's lies, and it's not true. And there's slanders.
Wait, what website?
Naysayers. I think it's Encyclopedia Dramatica.
Oh, yeah.
So she said, okay, well, let me just go down the list and see what's false. And so, okay, it says here that you're a vampire of some sort. Actually, that's I am a vampire. So he goes into this whole long spiel about how he's a vampire. But Vaughn, it also says here that you developed a stealth bomber. That can't be right. No, that's actually very true. I did develop it. I have the plans. I still have them around here somewhere. My dad saw them. And so she says, okay, well,
and did you see it? It was just like a triangle, a circle, and a big rectangle. That's all it was. And he goes, this is the cab, this is the propulsion. I'm like, whoa, this dude is tripping, man. That looks like something you could do on a friggin' with some blocks. I'm outside, my dog is fucking with me. Wait. But yeah, if you haven't looked him up yet, you have to. It's amazing. It's lulls after lulls after lulls. Quality lulls too, straight from the tee.
Yeah, there's I think what's the channel, Mandela Effect, with the little yellow fly. That
he's still doing that bullshit.
Yeah.
Oh, I do remember now where we attacked who was Forbidden Fruit, right? When he brought up Christianity is a mental illness. Man, everyone attacked him for that.
Yeah.
But when he got his wife, I felt like this guy's he's crazy. He tells her that she's 23 at the time, right? Tells her across the country that the world's going to end. She's mentally challenged. She goes for it. He says that the only place that'll be safe is at my house in the woods. It's fortified and we're ready to take on the Armageddon. She comes all the way there, and then he impregnates her with 3 kids and on us.
Dreas, okay, that's what it was. Dreas Sanchez, thank you. I don't know where I got Aguilar from. Sorry.
History, the crazy version.
Yeah,
I just looked him up.
I want to see that video.
The guy's name was Dreas. I think I said it was like Antonio Aguilar. I have no idea where I got that name from.
I remember Dreas. Yeah,
you listened to some "Hit Me, Baby, One More Time." I think.
I guess. Yeah, it was Dreas Sanchez. I think he had an apostrophe somewhere. Dreas Sanchez.
Yeah,
it may be on his channel.
Yeah, he was. I think the professor you're talking about was at a Christian school though. Like a Christian college. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that explains it.
Where is it? Okay, I'm on his channel now, so let me see if I can find it. It was definitely before his kid was born. Definitely before his kid was born, because I remember he was talking about he was proud to eventually become a father. Why is he holding an armadillo? Oh, it's a safari park. Okay. Yeah, he's holding an armadillo.
That's his prayer buddy.
I thought
my lucky armadillo.
I thought you weren't supposed to pick those things up.
You're not. You get leprosy from him. He has a video of him doing it though. It's like, hey, buddy. What is
opossums? Those are no joke, man.
Shit, it's not on his channel either. Damn it.
Yeah, he got so erased.
Yeah, well, you know what? To his credit, he has leveled like because it wasn't the atheists that really got to, it was other Christians like Holy Spackle was talking to him and a few others were telling him, look, dude, you need to calm down. Like you really like you're ramped up and raring to go. You know, you got so much motivation, which is cool, but you really need to sit down and learn about some of this stuff before you engage, you know, these atheists in these conversations. And she was right. Like there was nothing wrong about what she was saying, because he was getting his ass handed to him and he really didn't realize it until later, and then he would go, oh yeah, I didn't run off, you know, at the mouth a lot, and I really didn't
Well,
know
at
what I was
least he was
talking
aware
about.
of that.
So
Yeah, that's
yeah,
good that he was aware.
it took him a while, but he's like he's fully aware now. And then he would I think he had some hangouts where he was trying to like build bridges and talk about his faith, and you know, he spent a little time talking to Deidre about, you know, moderate Christianism kind of stuff. And yeah,
it's funny because that's one of my favorite topics.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure if you were around back then, Carrie.
No, I've
Declan,
only been here like, I don't know, 6 months.
Yeah.
Remember Declan used to be on Naughties all the time, right?
Who?
Same.
Recklin?
Declan. Oh, what the hell's his real name? He used to be on Nadia's channel. He was like a Calvinist.
Hmm.
He had his daughter's got red hair.
No.
Oh, I forget his name.
I don't know.
He's on Krillism's Discord. And last time I heard from him, I mean, he was a hardcore, right? You know, a Calvinist type, right? You know, everything God does is just. And I'm over there on Discord, he was going against all the Christians. I think he lost his faith and he's an atheist now. I'm like, his name, I can't remember his name either.
Yeah, you don't get a lot of atheists turning to religion.
It does happen, and
it does.
Yeah,
it does happen.
it's actually a good story because I'm actually a member of the Clergy Project. So former ministers and priests and nuns and stuff who've decided not to be that anymore and acknowledge that they're atheists. So we have a general understanding amongst us that every single one of us could become fabulously wealthy if we ever decided to play the card of returning to our religions. And we fully acknowledge
everything
this.
you know
know
now.
this because you've got like Anthony Flew is like one name from the past everybody knows. He was an atheist who then became a Christian, and everybody knows him. But these are stories you hear about atheists who've accepted God, you know, and especially ones that are really profound changes in your personality, sort of thing.
Yeah, there's that writer. What's his name? Suburbs. Oh, I forget his name now. He's a writer, and he was an atheist, and now he's a Christian, and he's writing all these books and doing all these talks.
Talk show circuits go on every Christian radio show. They pay your header, you know, your fee, your speaking fee. You can make mint on the talking circuit. So all you got to do is have no ethics.
Do you mean Strobel?
Yeah, Lee
Strobel?
Strobel. Yeah, Lee Strobel. Yeah, Lee Strobel.
Yeah, I actually have one of his books, The Case for a Creator. I haven't finished it yet, but from what I'm reading, yeah,
Not a compelling argument.
not so far. I might have to sit down and read it one of these days.
I did.
Sorry.
Oh, you found it?
I don't think it really matters. I was just gonna say I don't think it really matters what your arguments are like. You're an atheist that's now a Christian, right? And now the Christians can use you to fight atheism.
Yes.
It
Yes,
really doesn't matter how good your arguments are.
Found it.
No, this is not it. This is the first time I found something funny. This is the first time I brought up the Chocobo people, and this guy fell for it.
Oh, I remember that. Okay.
You remember? Okay, if you've never heard my Chocobo story, you're about to hear. This is the first time I actually used it.
Just right.
Good.
It was I think this is G Consciousness actually. Let me play it.
I like the avatar.
The ancients think isn't going to cover all of them. So that's the issue I'm having with what you're saying. The ancients believed this. I mean, you might be able to find somebody, but you know, it's not.
That's what we do when we do a history. You talk about ancients. You can't just try to neglect
The term ancient, I mean.
What do you mean by ancients?
I mean, ancestor. I mean, the historical people, basically. You know what I'm saying? People with historical.
The Egyptians, the Sumerians.
Yeah, all of those.
You're talking about the ancient.
Definitely, all ancient cultures. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Are you talking about the Indians? Are you talking about the Plains Indians? What are you talking?
Yeah, all of that.
Okay, so what?
This is when I realize he'll say yes to anything.
Hey, there's Bob in there.
Yeah, Bob.
What else did all of those civilizations agree on?
Oh, I think he's talking about.
I'll even take the Romans and the Native Americans. Let's go with a specific tribe. The freaking
Well, I think I know who he's talking about. Are you talking about the Chocobo people?
The what?
Chocobo people.
The Chocobos?
I haven't read anything on them, but I'm pretty sure they probably talking about some good stuff too. I don't know, nitty gritty stuff. I don't know.
Oh, okay. I was just trying to
say people was cheating.
I mean, just the ocean's heard the Chocobo.
I mean, I can't really say. I can't really say too much. If you got a problem with this, you got a problem with saying the word ancient cultures and what they observed and different things, and I mean, maybe you. I mean, just need to go talk to the, deal to the historical, the people who deal with this in the historical field, because they the one came up with the deal with the word and the concept. So I mean, I don't know what to say about that. Yes, ma'am.
Shalom, you're saying.
Yes, ma'am.
No,
the ladies first, let the woman speak.
Yes, the problem we're having with just saying ancient people, that includes everyone who's ever lived in our past. And there are so many different types of civilizations out there who had their own opinions on how things work that we're not sure what information you're talking about when you talk about information we received that they've recorded or something.
I just want to hear one thing.
Wait. The concept of God. The concept of God is in every ancient culture and sacrifices. If you could show me those ancient cultures, if you could show me any ancient culture that does not deal with it. Well, I understand. Hold on, listen. Hold on, I understand that. I understand it. I'm telling you, there's not one ancient culture that you can show me to this day that did not deal with a deity or divine. Show me that.
There's some tribes in South America that are atheistic.
Yeah, right. Stop playing.
I'm not playing.
Okay, call them out right now. Call them out right now.
Find them real quick. They're still around. Broadcast to Alvin, please.
Is he back?
I don't have mods.
Is right back?
Yeah. Watch this.
Okay, I think that was okay. I thought I went into it more. I think I got somebody else with it though, too. Yeah.
That's someone like actually went along with you and like was like, oh yeah, I know who you were talking about or something, right?
Yeah, I forgot who it was. Yeah, that was the first time I pulled it up. I didn't think it would work, but then I was like, okay, well, shit, it'll work on people, so let me keep saying it.
Yeah.
And I got G-Man with it one time. I got G-Man because I used he said, yeah, it's a Dr. Cloud Strife and his companion Mr. Barrett, and they studied the ancient materia arts. We're also studying ancient Chocobo people.
Yeah, he go for that shit, man. And he's like, without even knowing damn well he doesn't know that you're what he's talking about, and he's gonna pretend. You know, that's them though. That's them.
Yeah, I mean, the reason I had a feeling it would work is because remember when Arcane first pulled up the farting birds thing that he literally made up on the spot, and then True sat there and agreed with it without missing a beat, like just simply agreed because his buddy said it.
Yo.
Wow.
They don't care.
But Bob, you know, one of the reasons why Strobo became an atheist is that he couldn't disprove the Bible or the arguments, against evolution and cosmology and all that stuff. I really have to finish this damn book one of these days. It was.
Yeah.
Finishing books is harder than it's easier said than done sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
On that
There'll be a
note,
time where I'll read a
going
bunch of books, and then all of a sudden I haven't read a book in like a while.
I'm going to go ahead and call this, folks. I'm going to spend some time reading the Goldo Escher box, The Eternal Braid. It's supposed to be a really good book to help return some the brain cells that I lost from dealing with some of these folks. So
I'm gonna go check up the Chocomo people.
Yes, go look up the Chocobo people. They're very prosperous folks. Hey, Drag, the video is in JD Kane's channel. It's called Ozzy and JD Kane Talk to David Crocker. There. Okay, I'm gonna play that first. Okay, someone found it. There it is.
Nice.
All right. So you found it.
Wait a sec, I'm not in the. Dang it, I'm not in the. Okay, they put it in the YouTube chat room. Or
hold on. No, they I don't know who that is.
Hangouts?
I would give this person. I don't know who you are, so I tend not to give people mods if I don't know who you are. So I'm just going to go
just what's the
find
name
it
of the
real
title
quick.
then? What's the name of the title? I'll look it up.
They said it's JD. It's called Ozzy and JD Kane Talk with David Croker. Drea's professor.
I love the internet sometimes.
Yeah. Yep. There it is.
Hello, everyone. It's just there's no special name to this broadcast. Just hi. I'm here with is it Mr. or Doctor?
Hello, Ward.
Ward. With Ward Crocker, and his pupil Dreas Sanchez. I believe he's in your class.
There we go.
Actually, it doesn't seem like there is a moral difference then. If there is no objective morality, it's hard to understand how there is a moral difference between, torturing a baby versus, sacrificing your life for a baby. More than just emotional. Is there an objective difference between those two? And if there is, I think we're on to something there. Does that make sense? It doesn't mean that you are an immoral person.
I put timestamps here.
To analyze here is the concept of goodness, and presumably you've got to analyze the concept in terms of some other properties, namely divine attributes. What are the divine attributes that amount to goodness? You can't appeal to God's goodness in your analysis of the concept of goodness, because everything that you're trying to understand is the concept of goodness.
I gave one example: maximal goodness, maximal holiness, maximal has the maximal attributes.
But what makes him maximally good? That's what's at issue here.
His nature is good.
Well, in that case, we're not really defining goodness as, well, I guess that which God said. I mean, by some you're basically saying God's nature is God's nature, but what makes that nature good, other than simply saying? Right. It seems like the word no longer good has it doesn't have a useful definition. It's basically, well, good is God's nature. Well, what's God's nature? God's nature is good. Well, that doesn't really explain anything.
But talk about moral goodness as opposed to useful goodness. Those are different terms of goodness. As something is useful. So talk about moral good. When we're talking about morality, the standard by which it all would be by the moral issues would be critiqued, and it answers the question of grounding morality and having objective morality, as opposed to having a morality based on human opinion. It could be culture, could be individual, could be whatever you want to say it. If it's based on these different things, then what follows from that is anything goes.
He's in already.
Ending point. Go ahead, you JD.
Yeah, I just wanted one before. Ozzy also wants to ask another question. You also mentioned that revelation from Scripture is another way you determine.
Okay, folks, that's a sample. It's actually a really good conversation. Go watch it. I put the link out there. So I'm going to go. I'm going to go like rewatch this. It's like a little over an hour and a half. It's about an hour and a half. Excuse me. And I'm going to go find me something to eat because I'm starving now. So
my wife just said, "Are you watching a hangout in a hangout?" And I'm like, "Yes, babe. That's what I'm doing."
We actually it's funny. We actually used to do this a lot. Like we call it hangout inception. Like we used to do it a lot, and it's slowed down because that's why I put timestamps in here. JD's proposal about suffering, and I have another timestamp about where was it? Yeah, Mr. Ward begs the question of God's goodness, and some other people have timestamps in here too if you search for them. Oh shit!
Put the link in the external chat so I can pull it up and watch it.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I'll put the link out there. Yeah, folks, if y'all just want to if you don't want to watch the whole thing, I would implore you to please go watch the whole thing. It's a really good conversation. It's a chance to see. Well, yeah, Hogtie says something about being Canadian. Nobody cared, but
hey Bob, I already did that. I put it in the the outside chat of this thing. Yeah,
The external
thank you.
chat, the green box. Yeah, the green box. Yeah.
Yeah, put it out there and yeah, do that because like yeah, me, Rumpus, Clint Renau, and I think a few others put timestamps. Yeah, David Schellingers, I don't know how you say his name. Yeah, we put timestamps in here. Even Bert Poole put one in there.
I wonder if he still works there. Like
after this, he should have been fired. No, I'm just kidding. Like, he's a great guy. He's just like you'll hear Ozzy bring up some really good points of contention, and like he really doesn't address them. Like for a professor, it's kind of like disappointing.
Well, I mean, he's a Christian professor, as been said, so I don't think that's too. I don't think that's too much. Wait. Anyway, go ahead.
There are very smart Christians. There's just some
that's
that
true.
are very
Yeah.
bad at apologetics.
Yeah, I think that's fair. That's fair. Oh, summary hog tie. Supposedly I'm bisexual because I said that passable trans women are attractive, and I'm secure enough as a man to say that. So in True's mind, men in dress turn me on, and we talked about at the beginning. Like there's a huge difference. Huge difference.
Are you sure he's not projecting?
Yeah, no, yeah. Like, just come on. One between the both of us, one of us looks more like a woman than the other, and I'll just leave you at that.
Oh God.
But yeah, it's funny. So now I'm gonna go have sex with Mrs. Dragnot, and yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching, folks. Now that I have a headset, I will be doing some more hangouts. I want to knock out some more of schoolwork because that takes precedent. And if you do have a topic, like we could just shoot the shit and I'll open up a hangout. You're welcome, Drag. I heard a lot from you guys, as Trey would say. Oh God, don't bring up Trey Jadlow. Like I can reminisce about some of these folks and just part of me weeps. I'm glad I've never actually had a conversation with Trey because I would just call him a bitch, honestly. But yeah. Yeah. Hogtie, go watch the video that True put on his channel about my sexuality. It's actually pretty funny. But on that note, folks, thank you for joining me. My panel of folks who are here or not here. Thanks for folks watching. Like I said, I'm very appreciative of folks. So y'all are the only reason I actually will stay up like this late and talk about shit. So yeah, have a good night.